wrestling fans, and welcome to the Wrestle Talk Podcast. For the next 2 hours, we will bring you the latest pro wrestling news, in-depth analysis of all your favorite promotions from across the globe, and much, much more. We will also bring you exclusive interviews with the greatest professional wrestling personalities on the local, national, and international levels. If you want to follow the Wrestle Talk Podcast, check us out online at www.wrestletalkpodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And now, it's time for the reigning, defending, undisputed leader in pro wrestling podcast, the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Good.
Next 2 hours, we will bring you the latest pro wrestling news.
Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to the one and only the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Well, it's going to be a great night of action. There's so much going on in the world of professional wrestling. We are on the road to WrestleMania, and you know what that means? That's a lot of WrestleMania sign pointing. We got a great interview with a Midwest legend. The Beast is going to be in the house. But you know what? I can't do it alone. The Wrestle Talk Podcast, I can't do it alone. I have one of my good friends in backstage ready to go. He's going to co-host with me. He is the one and only Night Owl, Renee Martinez. Renee, come on in, brother.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? Big dog, big sexy Chris Rodell, man. My pleasure to be here with you tonight, man. How the hell you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, man. I think life is treating me pretty decently. I know you got a big weekend coming up for your Kansas City Chiefs. I see you rocking the Chiefs thing up there.
Head to toe. The only thing not Chiefs gear is my underwear, and that's only because those were worn a couple of days ago. So we are all the way decked out in the Chiefs gear, man. And I'll tell you what, Road Dogg, it is truly a pleasure to be at the top of the mountain because we all know, and we can make a lot of comparisons to professional wrestling, man. You really do have to smell the flowers while you're at the top because a lot of us have gone through those terrible, rough, difficult moments in life or seasons that, man, when you are winning, you absolutely have to stop and smell the roses. And when you can, you rub it in the face of the haters. Like this guy right here. my guy JS talking his trash. And I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I could take the high road here, but nah, because y'all were betting against my boys since the beginning of the playoffs. That's it. That's all I'm going to say for now. But, dude, let me just tell you, it is great to be on top of the football world. As a matter of fact, I feel like I'm on top of the wrestling world just with everything that's been going on. So I cannot wait till we get into that conversation. I'm absolutely excited.
You know what? I heard something really good the other day. It's like, you know what? Everyone's betting against the Chiefs, but you know what? No one has been able to beat them yet. In the playoffs, no one has been able to beat them this year. Until someone says the Chiefs, until someone beats the Chiefs, it's the Chiefs' kingdom right now.
Well, you know what? It is absolutely the Chiefs' kingdom. And I'm going to actually take a thumbs up or a thumb down from our director in the back right now. Big Hoss, do you want to come on for the onset of the show, or do you want to wait to join us a little bit later, bro? You tell me. I want to thumbs up, thumbs down. Want to know if you want to ride with us? He's good. All right, John's okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have a third member of the party. I don't know for how long. I know he'll be here running the boards throughout the remainder of the evening. He'll also be taking your questions and putting them up on the screen as well. But without further ado, my friend, the third member of this trio, the one, the only, the hardcore champ of the FWWC. That's right. Hardcore Hoss, everybody. Woo!
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Great to be here. Looking forward to another great show and just so happy to be here. So much going on in the world of professional wrestling and just can't wait to dive into it. We've had Vengeance Day this past weekend, WrestleMania coming up. and so much going on. AEW's getting ready for their pay-per-view in March, and so much going on, I tell you.
Can you confirm or deny this question real quick? Sorry, Rodell there. So does that mean you're not happy that Punk isn't main eventing? Can you just give us a...
Why do we even have to mention his name? I don't understand it.
Well, I just set you up for that's right. Because, I mean, yeah. Is he happy that Punk isn't main eventing? That's right. Come on, John. John, me and you, we got to work on this chemistry. Rodell, quick shout out there. Our boy, Aztec Warrior, checking in here.
Nice.
From who knows what realm this evening. The homie, Big Aaron Wallace, always supporting. And then a little bit earlier, I'm sure you guys saw Jimmy Harris.
Harris.
Yeah, man, popping in, showing some love to the Wrestle Talk podcast, man. We love you guys. We appreciate you here. And, of course, the longest reigning and current FWWC Hardcore champ. I'm sorry, sis. I know how you Hosses get.
Is anyone ever going to beat Hoss for this title?
They've been trying, bro. Here's what I really want to know before we get too deep into this, Hoss. Whatever happened to you and Sonny's match at the Royal Rumble?
I have no idea. I was waiting for Sonny to post something.
Of course you were. Of course you were waiting for the other guy to make the first move. How Rodell of you?
I was gonna say, I'd give Rodell a shot, but he doesn't show up. So I mean, heck.
Oh,
shots fired! Shots fired!
Wow, bro, really hot. Sorry, that's Hoss's intro music. We had to.
So, yeah. I mean, maybe I was just thinking there may be a bigger scale that we could do this.
You guys have never even had a match. You're lucky we were going to put you on the Royal Rumble. Now you're both fired. So, all the build up for nothing. You two no-showed, and we're going to get this worked out. Maybe we do need to put you guys on the Universe Mania stage. Who knows? Maybe that's what needs to happen. But anyway, we'll discuss that later on because guess what, fellas? It's Wrestle Talk Podcast episode 468. And like you said, Road Dogg, we got an incredible guest. We've got so much to talk about. This is one of those weeks that I think, like, if we didn't have a guest, I think we would be all right. There's so much to talk about. But before we get there, let's go ahead and take care of business. So number one, and I'll go ahead and kick it off this week, John, because I know you did it last week for us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a brief moment to thank all of our wonderful sponsors. Royal Mills Transportation, Nobleman's Barber Lounge, Kincaid Arcade at the Oak Park Mall, Interstate 70 Sports Media, Little Popeye Designs, and of course, you heard us talk about it earlier, the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, the FWWC. That's right.
That's right.
There you go. We're going to get you on board here, John. We're going to get you here on board with your own slogan. But anyway, guys, the sponsors are out of the way. We got to get into high spots here in just a matter of moments. What I didn't get an opportunity to ask you guys is how are you guys doing just as individuals? I know we got so much to cover, and we'll get into all that, but let's start with you, Road Dogg. How have you been on a personal level, man? Are you okay? How's 2024 treating you?
It's been long. It seems like January took forever to get done. It just was seemed like a long month, but hopefully February will be shorter. Things are looking up. I got my mom's birthday coming up here in a couple of weeks, so we're gonna go to the nursing home. We're gonna throw a little birthday party for her. So it's gonna be good. I got a booking this week. We'll talk about that later. And life is pretty good. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at a good 6.5.
We do 5. Remember, we do the super.
5 super kick. I'm probably about a 3.5 super kicks.
Okay, not too bad. Joke's on you though. It's a leap year, so February is actually longer this year. Did you know it was a leap year?
It's 29. Yeah, it's got the extra day. So
yeah, because you did say you're like, hopefully February is a little shorter. I'm like, well, you picked the wrong.
No,
year.
It's actually a little bit. Yeah, and Susie put a good point out there. Country music legend Toby Keith died overnight. Stomach cancer.
Well, let me tell you something. People always said a lot of stuff about Toby Keith being a racist and hating Mexicans and shit like that. Maybe. I don't know, bro.
I just liked his music.
The guy made great music, and he may have said some stupid shit in his life. We all have. I know he helped a lot of people, too. I'm not gonna shit on nobody. I know he was a big supporter of the troops.
Yeah. He went to he's gone to Afghanistan, Iraq so many times.
I'm not gonna hate that man because he said some stupid shit back in. I don't care about that. It's people say dumb stuff all the time.
And all we gotta say is cancer sucks. That's all you can. That's all you can say. stomach cancer. 62 years old.
Damn shame. Well, he lived a hell of a life. John, same question for you, bro. How are you? I love your new background. You seem to have upgraded. You got your own arena in the background, bro. I got to say, you really stepped your game up, man. You're looking good, buddy.
Yeah, I figured that blurred screen needed to go away. It worked for a time period, but time to raise up a little bit. But yeah, doing good. Just haven't been under the weather lately, so that's a good thing, and just doing good and having fun.
How are you in terms of like the health perspective? I know you were a little shaky before. Are you out up and about now? Are you getting a little bit more active? I know that's what one of your goals was.
Yeah, I'm still working on getting a little more active, but been doing good and trying to get a little more energy going, but doing good overall.
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do my darndest to rile you up tonight because they already started, bro.
Oh,
we want Cody. We want Ryan. It's about to go down in this mother.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh, we're gonna gut all over that thing.
I have been so angry this whole weekend because
wait! Don't spill the beans, man. We got to get through Roseanne and DJ Money. Then we'll get into it, bro. Because we're not leaving it to the randomizer. At least not completely tonight, because we got to talk about Cody Rock Roman. There's no question about it. So let's go ahead and cue up the music. Boys in the back, if you can help me with this, I'm going to ask everybody to do what we always do every single week here on the Wrestle Talk podcast as we continue to near to episode 500. We're going to ask you to remove your cap, place your hands over your corazones, and join us as we pay homage to the greatest country on God's green earth in the memory of Toby Keith, y'all. That's America, damn it. Hit it, boys. I'm trying. How did she hold that note for so long? How did she do that? Somebody turn that shit off.
Brings a tear to your eye every time, or blood to your ears, one of the two.
Oh,
I love it. How about this? We go with guaranteed to bring a tear to your eye and blood to your ears every single time. And then you say,
that's right.
Yeah, baby, I think we got it. We're going to work on that, John. We're going to work on that, man. We're going to take Joe's deal and we're going to put it over. Then we're going to put it on a t-shirt or something. It's going to be freaking awesome. Okay, I need to relax. I told you I was going to get you hyped tonight. I told you. All right, y'all ready for this, baby?
Did you take a Red Bull before you joined us tonight?
Bro, dude, do you ever watch the show? This is me every
That is true.
Single show, dog. This is what I do. I'm the night owl, baby. I don't sleep. You know what I'm saying? I'm like Tony Montana without the powder. You dig? I'm out here. I love wrestling. I love people. God has been so good. My team is in the Super Bowl again. How could I not be this fired up? I would like not even have a pulse if I wasn't this excited. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Let's hit the high spots music, baby. We're about to kill it tonight. It's a good one. I'm ready. Let's go.
Mic check, mic check. Yeah. All right. Wrestle Talk Podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like lamb chops. We dog shots coming through the screens of a laptop and non-stop like a runner speakers of blacktop. We hit hard like chair shots and backdrops like a block flash, look like a barely fly that ass hard. We up to speed while they stay slow. Wrestle Talk Podcast, now they know we about to start the show.
love that song, man. That song goes so hard. And by the way, Sonny, I could tell that your Wyandotte County education is really not serving you well right now because night in my name has nothing to do with nighttime. It's night as in like Knights of the Round. Anyway, you wouldn't understand, bro. Read a book, my guy, please. Something other than Dr. Seuss for once, okay?
Oh,
Are we ready? Are we ready?
Damn.
Come on, man. You're trying to knock me off my pedestal, man. Come on.
Shots fired.
Get out of here. When was the last time you hosted? Get out of here, Sonny Money, you grease ball. Hit the bricks, Poppy. All right, you guys ready?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna roll the dice on the first one, and if the randomizer lets us down, then we'll go straight to it on the second one. Okay, one of us is gonna hit the randomizer, the other guy's gonna find the poster, and then the third one's gonna find the question. Are we good with that?
Okay,
I'll find the question. Hoss,
Right.
you hit the randomizer, and Road Dog, you find the poster. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Go. Poster. Ooh. Let's see what we got here for the man aiming to finish his story. There it is. Off the screen, it says, with Cody seemingly poised to face Seth for the WWE World's Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, when, and I'm going to add this, if ever, does Cody finish his story?
Yeah.
Who's going to go first?
So, when this all happened Friday, the whole thing went, the immediate hashtag was, we want Cody. We want Cody. Do wrestling fans really not see the forest through the trees? I mean, yeah, okay, we want Cody Rhodes to finish the story, but do we not see where the money match is for Mania? Granted, they're probably doing it for other reasons, but that's the money match. That's what we for 3 years have said. We want Rock versus Roman. Every year is like, it should be Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. We're finally getting it, and you're like, nope, don't fucking want that now. We want Cody and Rock, or Cody and Roman. Make that make sense to me, wrestling fans. Make that make sense to me.
Well, you want it to make sense, but does it make sense to have a one-off because they're going to throw the title in the mix? With him still holding the title, it just doesn't make sense because Rock is not going to win the title because it's a one-off. Now, if it wasn't for the title, if it was just for head of the table, then there's a chance Rock could win it. Then you're looking at a decent match. But for the title, it's not going to be an exciting match because Rock's not going to win. So, I mean, when does he finish his story? I've heard some rumors that he may finish it at SummerSlam instead of WrestleMania, and it could be a title unification match, but that doesn't totally make sense either. Why did they bring in this title? What, a year ago, if that? Not even a year ago, I think, just to unify it in such a short time. That doesn't make sense. So I don't see it happening at SummerSlam. And I just don't see it making sense for Rock versus Roman right now while he still holds the title. Not for the title anyway. Now, I mean, I guess they want to do it and say it's non-title matchup. It might make sense. But just not for his title.
And I'm going to quickly reference Sonny Mayo's comment. Shout out to my brother. I know I was just ragging on you, and you called me a creepo for some reason. I don't even know what that means. But but I love you, bro. And I think this is a tremendous and very obvious take. The reason that The Rock is here is because this has to be the biggest WrestleMania ever. take it from a guy that works in a corporation. They are not satisfied unless you outdid last year. Every year has to be your best year. So whether let's just say 65% of the fan base that we would call loyal fans are happy about it or not, they're okay with appeasing the other 35. I'm sorry, that'd be 35%, the other 35%, and then adding an additional 10 or 15% just on name recognition. I want to bring everybody back in for this one. So does that math make sense? So stay with me. You're going to piss off about 65% of the fan base, which is what you're hearing, the boos. And I really thought it was going to be a little bit more powerful last night. It wasn't as powerful as it was on Friday with the Cody stuff. Even though we did get a few, like maybe quarter of the stadium, Rocky sucks. I don't think it's everybody, and maybe it might have been half. But let me go back to my original math. You're going to piss off 60 to 65% of the fan base. Okay? The other 30 to 35% are actually going to be happy with it. I'm one of those people because I've been wanting to see Rock Roman, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a second and why I want to see that match outside of them just wanting to sell tickets. Okay, so 35% of the base is happy, 65% of the base is not happy. What they care about more than the 35 or 65 is the amount of fans they're going to be able to add. That's what this show is about. WrestleMania is the big stage that draws in everybody, okay? Just like the Super Bowl is for football. You're going to draw in people that you normally don't have on a week-in, week-out basis. That's why the whole Taylor Swift thing, forgive me for bringing that up. Someone did say KC Swifties earlier, though. I think that might have been Sis. But if you guys are still with me on this, I think they're more concerned about the 10 or 15% that they're going to add to their base. That's why The Rock makes sense. Back to Sonny's point, Cody isn't going to draw that. You've already got the fans that Cody draws. That's the hardcores. That's the room. That's every single member of the Wrestle Talk family for the most part, other than like when my sister watches or something. So for that reason, business-wise, I think that's why you're seeing The Rock. Now, personally, and I'll keep this a little bit more brief, Rodell nailed it. We are a bunch of fat malcontents in this country, okay? And I'm going to start with Renee Martinez. We are overexposed and underappreciative. I say it every week. We have more wrestling than ever. Enjoy. But why does it sound like the complaining gets louder every single week? Like you would think that there's so much great wrestling that no one would have anything to complain about. Because if you don't like that kind of wrestling, just, but no, yet X, one of my favorite platforms, that you can spend all day just reading all the negative shit on there about professional wrestling.
Oh, it's toxic. It's so,
pretty bad.
It's bad. I mean,
starting with the Modern Warfare lobbies from back in the day.
I mean, starting back on Friday when this happened, it was like all weekend long. It was like everyone was complaining. It's like, oh, The Rock, he's a TKO board member now. He wedged his way into this. No, The Rock has come out and said, I want to make as much money for the WWE as I can.
Are we going to deny the borderline chills? And maybe some people are jaded. I can't say that this is for everybody, but I know a good section of the fan base like me was disappointed, but that didn't overshadow my excitement for, do you smell it? Dude, this is to right the wrong from years ago where Rock kind of co-signed Roman and then he kept kind of sliding until he got sick and then came back and then the whole thing changed. I think that this rights that wrong, right? Mm-hmm. And then here's the final piece of my thoughts on it. Like, I think Seth had his moment with the cash-in, okay? I think Brock got his moment with Taker. Mm-hmm. Can somebody tell me what that moment is for Roman?
What is
the quintessential moment for Roman?
That moment was supposed to be with Taker, but obviously you saw what happened the next night after.
I know.
He did a promo in the ring where he wasn't allowed to say two words. He only said I think he said, "It's my yard now," because every time he tried to talk, the crowd would drown him out. So that was supposed to be his moment.
Didn't happen.
This is kind of making up maybe for that moment. To give him,
he has to have it. He has to have the baton pass moment. Like I said, I just gave two examples. It happened. And after Rollins had the cash in, he had that amazing 3-year run. Roman hasn't had that. As hot as he's been, bro, he's never had anybody. He had to like kind of forcefully take the baton, and now he's going to kind of have that moment where The Rock like passes it down, even if he's the heel and Rock is the face. So I'm going to be not long-sighted on this. I'm not going to be short-sighted on this. I'm going to assume that these guys know that they're going to hurt us up front, but that there's going to be a big payoff. And if you watch Cody on social, he said, guys, kind of like something simple, like just trust it. Just trust it. Like, it's going to be okay.
And do you think they would, okay. Do you honestly think they would have went forward with this without Cody's okay? I mean,
absolutely, unquestionably, they would have done it if they thought it was best for business. But I do believe that they listen to the superstars. I don't think that they're going to ultimately let it weigh on their decision in terms of business. If they can accommodate a request and it doesn't fit the business, just because I'm a manager, I know how this goes. If you can accommodate the personal request and it doesn't affect business, you try that. You try to do what's right for your people. But at the end of the day, if it's affecting the business, sorry, bro, can't have that day off. We got to be there. You know what I mean? It's the rule of the road when you're talking business, man. Yeah.
I mean, it's just let's how about we let the story play? How about maybe we go past just Friday night, because we only had Friday night. We didn't have anything. The Rock and Roman Reigns haven't even said 2 words to each other.
Like just the face off.
Just the face off. And that was still, I mean, I'll admit, when I was watching SmackDown, I was like, oh, really? I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting Cody to be like, okay, we're gonna.
Oh, shout out to Tyler, by the way. I see the message. Yo, just one more time. Sorry, Rodell, don't finish that point, but he said goof evening. That's pretty good. You're tuning into the right podcast if that's what you're looking for.
Goof evening. But I mean, I was expecting Cody to come out and be like, hey, I'm finishing my story against you. And then The Rock comes out and then almost like asked for Cody's okay, if it's okay if he takes this. But then again, we don't even know what's happening. Do we even technically know that Roman is going to face Rock at WrestleMania?
Thursday.
We don't technically know.
John, tell me this isn't the antithesis of the Jake Roberts speech, where he goes, we mind these people with the shit that we do. Like, we're all literally, at least to a certain extent, a little distressed about this. I don't know how you guys feel. I got real life shit going on, we got car payments and all this other shit, but I'm really sitting at my desk at work. I'm like, what the fuck are they going to do with Cody? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really wasting my time, valuable time thinking about this, bro. Like, they got us, bro. They're so good. And I know maybe it won't be perfect when we figure out what it's going to happen, but the suspense makes it all worth it, man. This shit's so crazy. I don't know.
And you kind of seen them kind of teasing it on Monday that maybe they're going to do a triple threat because, Seth is kind of banged up. So, I mean, can Seth even work a full WrestleMania match without like completely blowing his ACL?
He was in the brace.
So maybe are they setting up maybe a Cody Drew Seth thing, and that gives Drew that could work out well too, because then that gives Drew his WrestleMania moment that he was robbed of at in 2020 when he had to win the title inside the Performance Center.
It just pisses me off because it feels like the Denzel Washington thing. Like, Drew's not going to become a real, like, full-blown put-over champion, not counting the COVID era, until he goes heel. Like, Denzel didn't win the Oscar until he became the gangster in Training Day. Or, like, Halle didn't win the Oscar until she became a slut in that movie Monsters Ball. So, I mean, I hate to say it, bro. I hope they don't do that to my man Drew, because I think he deserves a babyface title run. It's just the shit ain't happening right now with Roman at the top, bro. It's just it ain't gonna happen. I don't know. I'd like to see him have his moment too.
I don't see it happening. As a matter of fact, I think if by chance they do give it to Drew at WrestleMania, I look for Damian Priest to come out and take it right away. One of those 5 minutes.
I completely forgot about. I mean, that could be another way. They could Seth could technically win the match, and then Priest comes out and cash it in. I mean,
then he let that boy win it. By the way, I think he's one of those Money in the Bank guys that deserves to win it. Personally.
And honestly, can we go back to Roman for a second? How good has his promos been? His promos. I mean, honestly, he struggled when he first started, but most wrestlers do. And I think working with Paul Heyman has probably helped him in his promo game, because one, look at his facial expressions when he's saying something. It's like he's got that look on his face. He's like he actually believes what he says now. And
no more Thucker and Thuckatash.
Right. And he was dogged. We'll admit, he was dogged by John Cena in that one promo. He was really whenever he was stumbling over his words and Cena dog walked him. I'm like, as much as you hate Cena for that, but that's something that he has to learn.
I still think those critiques are unfair, because I don't think the handcuffs were off Roman at that time, and I think they have been off John Cena for a long time. I think it's hard to critique a guy when they're like, you have to read this shit, and then he can't come back at the guy who's basically shooting on him right across. I mean, I don't know. I'm not making excuses for the guy, but
right.
Anyway, I do want to just finish answering this question so we can move on. Just very, very briefly for me, I heard I didn't come up with this, but here's my theory, and I heard it, and I like the theory, so I'm going to call it mine too. Cody goes against Seth, wins the belt, and then they go and they do a Survivor Series thing for a unification, and they potentially do the unification, which Rodell made a great point, or John made a great point and said, man, it doesn't make sense. They just introduced the belt. But if you're going to ultimately do what Cody said, he's like, I don't just want to end your reign. I want to end you. How do I take you down? I take everything with you. And so it would mean something extreme like that. And then for those that know, Dusty Rhodes was the originator of the concept behind the Survivor Series. So it would be appropriate if you're tying it all back to
war games, not Survivor Series, war games. He was in charge of war games.
Oh, wasn't the Survivor Series?
No, Survivor Series. I think it was Pat Patterson, but the actual War Games match, the double ring cage match, that was him. That was him in his NWA days.
For whatever reason, the theory that I heard had something tied to it ending at Survivor Series, because Dusty came up with something related. I don't know. Maybe bad intel there, but anyway, I would love to see Cody end the story. I don't necessarily think that story means that he has to beat Roman. I think that can be done in another way. I don't know if him versus Rollins is the way, but I'm not going to bash Rock Roman, because this is what we've been asking for. So it just sucks that the monkey wrench ended up where it's at right now. But I've been wanting to see this. This is the biggest match that they can put together, and I want to see the big matches. I'm sorry. Cody versus Roman sounds like a freaking SummerSlam match to me. And it already happened. And what guarantees us that we're not going to have Solo and Jimmy? There's no protections around Cody. You know what I mean? Like, there's no guarantees. So anyway,
trust the process. Trust the process. That's all. I mean, we've been worried before, and things have worked out. I mean, it just, I don't know. I don't get it.
John?
I will say one thing, though. One of the reasons I heard that they decided to pivot to this match, other than the fact that Punk was hurt and they had to figure out what to do with Seth now, but the other reason I heard was because they thought by bringing The Rock in, it would change pretty much the narrative going on. Everything would go away from focusing on Vince. And one thing for sure, ever since people started complaining about this, I ain't heard Vince's name.
It worked.
So I would say that worked.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's one reason why I think that they're probably doing it, is like it gets Vince out of the TMZ headlines and puts Rock back in there in more of a positive light for the TKO.
That makes Sonny's statement even more true. They had to bring out the big guns. Yeah. I guess also go ahead.
I don't like agreeing with Sonny, so maybe I need to rethink. No, I'm just kidding.
Ultimately, and I'm going to revisit this just one more time. Ultimately, I think that they kind of booked themselves into a corner, in addition to the Punk mess, which isn't their fault, isn't really his fault. But John said it: when this guy shows up, shit goes haywire. We know he probably didn't plan the injury, but here we go again. Listen, some people are just that like unlucky rabbit's foot, man. He showed up. Now all the WrestleMania booking is in a tizzy. So I can't imagine that this is how they wanted it to play out, because now they've got a real question on their hands. Are Rock and Roman going to get booed in the main event at WrestleMania? That should be a real concern in Philadelphia.
Well, Philadelphia boos everything. They boo
They
fucking
are
Santa
ruthless,
Claus.
bro. They're ruthless over there.
They
They
boo
picked the
Santa
wrong
Claus.
place. They picked the wrong place to do some shit like this. Because I'm telling you, they might just boo the match just cause.
And then there's always talk that CM Punk maybe was supposed to maybe win the title and go after Seth, but his injury was like he knew something. You could tell if you look at it, you could tell he knew something was wrong as soon as he landed on it or something. So I mean, they make audibles like that all the time. I've heard that they're like Cody was always supposed to win it, but they were. I think they said Cody wasn't supposed to win it because they were unsure, or was supposed to win it because they were unsure about Rock.
So we all agree once again it's Punk's fault, right? Do we all agree?
I mean, I guess we can blame Punk.
Everything's Punk's fault.
Yes, we finally agree on something. It's Punk's fault. All right,
That's right.
let's go. Wrestle Talk family. Let's get it done. All right, let's go. Rabbit's foot, a rabbit. Come on, Susie. Seriously, you're gonna get into technicalities with me right now?
CM fault.
CM's fault. Okay, so I want him to get well, though, bro. I'm sorry, I'm not hoping nothing ill on anybody, but
right. I mean, because we don't want to be in that. We don't want to be in that. I mean, if I tore my tricep, I'd probably be. You probably wouldn't see me for months or something because I'd be crying in a corner. And
unless you're Cody Rhodes.
Well, yeah, that was disgusting. Oh, I still remember that. It was
purple all over, bro. It was crazy.
And you still remember that whatever he took, because no one was like, he's like, well, he can't do any further damage to it, so he's going to work the match. And then he takes off his robe, and the audible like, oh, and the crowd was like. And I think you brought it up, the Bully Ray thing from Busted Open Radio.
Hold on. Well, we got to hit the randomizer.
Oh, you want to hit the?
Of course. Rodell, I'm starting to figure this out. I've been trying to figure out who's rebelling against the randomizer.
Maybe
I think you're behind the entire thing.
Maybe it is. Maybe because it's
bad juju. It's bad juju.
I like a train of thought. My brain works one way.
Well, but
don't go there. Don't go there.
Okay. No, here's what I'm going to say. Here's where I think the advantage is. Because spontaneity is key to being entertaining. And if we've got everything scripted out and we know what order the questions are coming, bro, it's going to stop us from being spontaneous. And it teaches us to be show a little restraint because it keeps us from jumping to the next topic right away. So let's, trust it.
I will trust the system.
Hit the randomizer, baby. I'm ready with the question. Let's go. Mellow. I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You guys want to read one of this off for me? Who wants to take it?
No, I'll read it. At Vengeance Day, Carmelo Hayes turned on Trick Williams. Is this a program you look forward to seeing? Renee, you want to go first?
Man, I would love to. And I'm going to be brief on this one as well.
When have you ever been brief?
Never. No, that's the setup. That's how I reel you in. Okay, so yes. Not that they're doing anything new here. I mean, this is the new version for us, or I should say for the new generation of like what we saw with Sammy and Kevin, and you know what I'm saying, like that turn right at the very, very top. Clearly, Trick Williams has ability within himself to be a champion. Obviously, as a tag team, they're borderline unstoppable. That's why they've been running Rush up there for such a long time in NXT. But I think it's great. Now, do I feel like they should bring Trick up immediately and just like they did Mello? No, I don't think Trick is quite as ready as Mello, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing if they continue the rivalry in NXT and if it bleeds into the main roster as well. Because again, going back to, the Sammy Kevin thing, we saw where it started, at least on the big stage. Everybody knows the indies that they've been battling for years and working together for years. But as far as like the main stage, we started seeing at NXT, it's carried through, and we're still telling that story today. I mean, even through Sammy's, whole thing with the tribal chief and with those guys, Kevin played a huge role in putting that whole thing over by playing the opposite to Sammy in that situation, right? Like, I think that's somebody who doesn't get enough credit for helping get the bloodline story over. I think Kevin was one of the main protagonists in helping to paint them as the massive heels that they became. So absolutely look forward. These guys are super duper uber talented. They both have ability on the mic. Trick had an awesome weekend. I mean, obviously, till Carmelo came in and handled his business, but dog, it's gonna be sick. These guys are gonna be battling each other for years, and I mean, I hate to be redundant. I just hope they stay healthy, man. That's the biggest thing.
They're gonna be intertwined together like Kevin and Sammy. I mean,
forever, like the Four Horsewomen, like all these other groups that we've seen before.
I mean, even if you think about it, both of them actually have talent, like a Shawn Michaels and a Marty Jannetty. They were. But
who's the Jannetty in this situation?
Neither one. That's the problem. Is neither one of them is the Jannetty in this. So this is more of a Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn type thing, where they're both kind of equal. Brett Owen.
Yeah, something like that, man. John, I don't know how much NXT you watch. We don't hold it against anybody. There's only so many hours in a day. What do you know about this NXT Vengeance situation with Carmelo and Trick?
Oh yes, definitely. I'm looking forward to that match, and that whole program is going to be a hell of a program. Both of these guys are very talented, and just seeing the turn that Carmelo did at Vengeance Day and everything, which I mean, you knew it was coming because they've been building it, but it's still just the way he did it and everything. I think it's going to be an awesome program, and I'm very vested in seeing this program going forwards, and really looking forwards to it. And it should be one hell of a program.
Man, that match is gonna slap though. The match is going. I mean, they're both so uber talented. It's going to.
Okay, so I have a question to make this a little bit more interesting. Would you guys like to see them play this out on NXT? Or do you think they should make room for them, like on a SmackDown, middle of the show type match, just to let people see what these guys can do? Because you're starting to see Breaker, right? We saw him on Monday night kind of show up backstage or whatever. Man, I want them to start showcasing this amazing young talent. I'm not saying that, they don't already have kind of middle of the card matches or whatever, but I would love to see these two guys play this thing out like on a SmackDown match or something, not just hitting down there in NXT.
Why not do both? Why can't you do both? I mean,
they've been doing a lot of that crossover stuff, haven't they?
I mean, yeah, Mello and Trick were just wrestling Austin Theory and Grayson Waller on a SmackDown. So
right, but I'm hoping that this feud plays out. Like to your point, both would be even better. That would be super sick.
And you can have SmackDown help build up the obvious stand and deliver match that they're going to have on WrestleMania weekend. So
hell yeah, dude, that's going to be crazy. I wonder if they're going to put any stipulations on that.
And honestly, the answer to your question kind of goes into another question that I know is in the randomizer. But it's there's so much talent in NXT right now that they seem almost like another brand extension of WWE, like Raw or SmackDown, more than they do a developmental brand, because there is so much talent down there right now. And it's just absolutely crazy. I mean, I run the FED and the FWWC, and if I had that much talent down there in the FED, now you would be on my ass wanting to know why they weren't being elevated.
Yeah, exactly. You're hogging all the talent, Hoss. We know how you operate talent.
And NXT has all the talent in Baron Corbin. So
whoa, come on. You gotta knock the Missouri guy. You gotta knock the Missouri guy. Man, bro. Now you wonder why the Rams didn't want to stay. Now you're knocking your own people down.
Hey, I just don't.
By the way, we have the best shortstop in Missouri now.
I saw Bobby Witt to sign 11 years.
That boy got that bag, baby.
Yeah, Tiffy. Susie says Tiffy time went to. Can we just talk about Tiffany Stratton, because Tiffany Stratton is like has only been in the business. No, I'm not even the looks part. She's only been wrestling like training for like a year, almost like 2 years, and she is so good. She's so good, so talented. She's gonna be a star.
No doubt. And I want to get back to Hoss's point about NXT. That's definitely a good one. It is one of the topics here tonight. Shout out to Battle Cat. We haven't heard from the cat.
Where's Battle Cat been?
A year. Yeah, Battle Cat's been away, training, sharpening the claws or whatever. But it's always good to see you, man. Shout out to Florida. Shout out to all my people down south. You already know what it is. real quick, and I know I'm going against my own rules here. Call me a hypocrite if you must. But
You
John,
just yell at me for no, just kidding.
yeah, but it's just such a smooth transition here because, and I think we'll get back to the other one, Chris, because we got to talk about that as well. It's key. It's key. But here's the extension of this conversation. I am super duper excited because before I went to my first AEW show, they were talking about bringing NXT show up to the Midwest. They were starting to do some of that touring. So please, God, because I've always wanted to see the WWE in a local pro wrestling environment. I don't like to use the word indie because, some of the legends in the sport don't even like that word because it diminishes it. It makes it feel smaller. And in reality, it's not smaller. You know what I'm saying? It's just a different version of the same thing. And in a lot of cases, better. Sometimes the more intimate setting, the better the shows are. I'll be honest with you. I've had way more fun at a Dynamo show than I've ever had at a WWE show. Straight up. That's no bullshit. But my point is, if they start touring again, bet your ass. I may not go to a whole lot of wrestling shows over the last couple of years, but I'm going to make it a point to go to NXT shows. So I certainly hope so, John. I think this was one of yours. Bro, it would be incredible to go into that tight environment, and just get that feeling of a local show, but with all the bells and whistles and a great commentary team and all that shit.
Like the arenas that maybe only hold maybe could only a max of 1,000 people,
bro.
With all the lights and there's so many smaller schools that have arenas that don't get the love from WWE. You don't think they would? You don't think they would enjoy that? The stars come in.
Sign me up. Oh, by the way, update: Battle Cat is in South Carolina now, not in Florida anymore. So, still in the South, baby. We love you. So yeah, I thought that was a great one, John. I think that was one of yours, man. Absolutely wonderful.
Oh yeah.
Let's more wrestling, baby. Bring it. And if they get back on the road, then Night Owl's going to try to take his babies over there, especially since I think the NXT shows. I think my daughter, who's 12, I think she would enjoy those a little bit more than the opulence of a bigger show. I think a little bit more intimate would be a little bit more fun for us. So. Next topic.
There's not going to be the pyro and everything. It's going to be they're going to have the lights and the smoke and everything, but they're not going to have the big pyrotechnic explosions going on.
It's a little intimidating, bro. It's a little intimidating.
I believe to start though, they're going to start touring for stuff like Vengeance Day and Bash at the Beach. Their premium live events are what they're going to start with touring.
Yeah, and they're going to keep. They've been keeping their house shows kind of in the Florida area, but just go to a Midwest. Go do a Midwest tour, or a Friday, Saturday, Sunday in loop in the Midwest, someplace small in St. Louis, or not even St. Louis, in the middle of Illinois, in the middle of Missouri, and then maybe even in the middle of Kansas.
Dude, that would be extraordinary. I would love.
But with their premium live events, though, I could definitely see them using the pyrotechnics and the smoke and all that stuff. So honestly, like I said, I almost get a feel of them being just another branch of WWE, not even a developmental brand anymore.
They very much feel like they stand on their own. I'm with you.
And now that they have their own general manager instead of just having Shawn Michaels running it,
Who is the new GM down there?
Ava Raine. Ava, Rock's daughter.
The Rock's daughter.
Oh, okay. All right.
Who has been getting death threats because of the Rock Cody thing?
She didn't book that shit. What's wrong with these people?
Because, as we said before,
what's wrong with
wrestling fans suck at times.
That's true.
And I hate to say that because we're a wrestling podcast. We rely on the wrestling fans to listen to us. So me telling them that they suck probably isn't very good for viewership. However,
he's definitely not talking about you, Aaron Wallace. Definitely not.
I might be talking about Jared, but we'll get to that later. I mean, if Jared's still listening, he knows me and him he's a fan of the Ass Boys, and I am not. And I sent the video to him by IM because I was watching AEW and the Bullet Club Gold came out, and I played the video as soon as they came on TV, I turned my TV off. He was just like,
justifiable. Don't blame me at all. Okay, There was one other topic, and we're reaching the halfway point. So let's go ahead and get into it. I know this is something that we all want to talk about. So why don't we go ahead and put the banner up and the question up, and then we'll hit this topic because we know everybody's going to want to talk about this. So let's go.
We talk about the kickoff?
Man, hell no, man.
Oh, okay. There's no banner for the.
Okay, bring up just the question. That's fine.
Oh,
that's what matters anyway.
You want to talk about the Bully Ray solution?
Yes. Okay.
There's a video, and I don't know how to play. Someone will have to show me how to play it.
Pull that up. Okay. So we alluded to this a little bit earlier, and
I actually have it under video clips. So all you got to do is click play on it.
Cool. Let's do that. So let's go ahead and play the clip because it's always great to get insight from guys from within the business. Okay. And Bully Ray is one of those guys that I think has unanimous respect throughout the business. He's a New Yorker, so he's very outspoken, which is a good thing for us. Maybe not always agree with guys that have an opinion like this, but always worth listening to. Let's go ahead and play it, and we'll gather thoughts afterwards.
Press conference that's going to take place Thursday. And this might be the most important part of the fixing of this situation. The Rock is seated at the table and Roman Reigns is seated at the table. Actually, both of them at the opposite ends of the table, both thinking they're sitting at the head of the table. The very first thing that comes out of The Rock's mouth is, before we get started at this press conference today, I need to acknowledge somebody. And the minute Rock says acknowledge, Roman gets a big shit-eating grin on his face. And Heyman fixes his tie and sits up all proud. And The Rock says, I need to acknowledge Cody Rhodes. Because if it wasn't for Cody Rhodes, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Problem solved. And now the people will hang on to the one thing that got trapped in Pandora's box. Hope. If you just leave it alone, I don't know why I should care about Cody anymore. Because after last Friday night, I saw the rightful heir to the throne of Zamunda. I saw the rightful heir to the main event spot at WrestleMania take it and throw it out the door because a 285-pound jacked Hollywood superstar who used to be somebody in WWE came waltzing back in the front door, jumped onto the board of directors and said, get out of the way, kid. I'm in the main event now.
Okay. Powerful take on a conversation we had just a few minutes ago. Does that warp your perspective at all? What do you guys take away from Bully Ray's comments?
I mean, Bully Ray has a brilliant wrestling mind. If you've ever listened to Busted Open, I haven't had a chance to listen as much as I used to, but because not a big fan of Dave LaGreca. He goes a little too out there for me. However, but Bully Ray's right. You are eventually going to have to address why Cody won the Royal Rumble and isn't in the main event of WrestleMania. Now, whether it's Rock saying, hey, your Royal Rumble shot, you're still going to get your title shot down the line. We're just going to postpone it a little bit, or something along that lines. But acknowledging Cody Rhodes, that might go a long way to quell fans' feelings on it. However, again, these are wrestling fans. They're never going to be happy.
JP?
Yeah, I have to agree that wrestling fans are never going to be happy, and I don't know if just acknowledging Cody is going to be enough for a lot of people. One question I have is looking at the way Cody comes out and the pop he gets and all the fans that are, we want Cody, and the amount of them that are now booing The Rock and chanting Rocky sucks. does that make Cody bigger than Rocky right now? And that's something that people never thought
That's
they'd see.
crazy. That's a crazy idea.
You know,
Wow.
it's something you never thought you'd see Cody bigger than Rocky, but you look at the amount of fans that are booing right now and cheering Cody, he might be bigger than Rock right now, and it's nuts. And I don't know that just acknowledging Cody is gonna appease them.
Well, because one, they're wrestling fans, they're never going to be appeased. So,
Well, that's a great point because these are the same people that are bitching about us having to deal with back-to-back Roman versus Brock WrestleManias. Like, how come we're always having to watch the same match? Malcontents. That's all I can say. And I agree with you guys from that perspective. But I guess if we're going to add something to the conversation, number one, like I said, always great to hear from somebody like Bully Ray that has a different view on it. But I think we are underestimating their ability to surprise us. And I think it's their own fault because the Royal Rumble, I don't think was like, whoa, like, oh, unexpected. Look what they did. I don't think it really went down like that. Obviously, it was nice to see Jade, but you knew she was coming. Okay. We see the TNA crossover. We talked about that a little bit. And then the Men's Royal Rumble, were there any major surprises or comebacks that I can think of? Anybody?
not really. Braun Breaker, maybe.
That was
but
nice.
but Braun Breaker was apparently there just to take Brock's. Everything Braun Breaker was doing, it was apparently what Brock was supposed to do.
Except that guy was already on the payroll and the other dude wanted $4 million.
Well, that could be too. But and there are. We go back to because Brock is mentioned in the Vince thing. So,
well, ultimately, and there you go. Ooh, go ahead, John.
No, I was say, yeah, that's exactly it. Brock was mentioned in the Vince thing, and at the same time too, I think part of the reason that it's so hard to make wrestling fans surprised at what happens and get behind it is for so long you had Vince's I'm going to tell you what you want. And in a way, Rock stepping in and saying, because I read one thing where he actually approached the TKO board and said, okay, look, I know we've got a swerve now, so let me go ahead and step in, do my match with Roman, and let me save WrestleMania. So kind of let me tell you what you want. So, and I think that's the way a lot of people are looking at it. Oh, Rock's on the board. Rock stepped in. Rock's telling us this is what we want. Whether that's the way it actually is or not, I don't necessarily think it was meant that way, but I think that's the way a lot of people are looking at it, and that's why it's so hard to surprise them.
You can't tell me that Hunter hasn't had scenarios for all of this stuff. Any possible deviation to the story that could happen. What would happen if Cody got hurt and we would have to go down this road? The Rock is available because his movie schedule hasn't picked back up since the strike. And that might have been on purpose on The Rock's fault. Maybe he knew that this was kind of coming. And this either needed to happen now or it was never going to happen. Because we were talking about, we've been talking about it for 2 years. That is like, oh, it's
they tried it. Rock came out and said earlier this year that there was something on the table 2 WrestleManias ago, if I'm not mistaken, and it just never came to fruition. Do you guys remember hearing that?
I believe that was on College Game Day with Pat McAfee.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And I don't necessarily think, though, that it happens now or it's never going to happen. It may not have happened at WrestleMania if it doesn't happen now. But
I don't think it can happen anywhere else.
This is the only place that
it
can happen. It's The Rock. It's Roman.
Yeah.
It's The Rock. It's Roman Reigns, and this also gets you to where if they really truly want Roman Reigns to beat Hulk Hogan's title reign, you have to get him past WrestleMania and get him to SummerSlam. If he wins at WrestleMania, you're going to see him a couple times. You're going to probably see him a couple times.
He needs a signature win. That goes back to our conversation. He needs a signature win to get to Hogan. He needs it. The Hogan thing means not as much if he doesn't get the big signature win, which he still doesn't have. He's punched down on every opponent that he's had since he became the tribal chief.
And he's needed help too a lot of the times.
I'm going to say this off the cuff. I wish Gunther was ready. I think if they keep Gunther on the trajectory for another year, because I don't know if you guys saw him with Imperium last night. He came out and did a whole segment. He was the main mic guy. And then Yeet came out. My boy Jay came out, right? And they had that exchange. And it was masterful. I wish it was him. I wish he was in the mix. Maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit here. But yeah, bro. They got to pay it back. They need the name. The Rock and Roman thing's been building forever. It's great that Cody has all this momentum, but so did LA Knight. And they were like, whatever. We'll get you going again here in a minute. We got some other shit planned right now. And then the LA Knight thing just died. It just died like 2 weeks ago.
And people were
comparing shit about LA Knight anymore.
People were comparing the whole Sami Zayn bloodline situation when he eventually turned on the bloodline. He's like, okay, was this setting up Sami to be at Mania I like Sami Zayn, but Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn
he ain't the champ,
doesn't work on a Mania as much as it does on. It works perfectly at an Elimination Chamber in Montreal.
Screwy match.
I mean, it was still a good match. So, I mean, believe it or not, the WWE knows what they're doing. I mean, how many times can we say?
I'm with Chris on this one, John. I think for the first time tonight, I have a vehement disagreement with you. I find it hard to believe, and I know you were just maybe painting a scenario versus saying, "Hey, this is what happened." But there's no way The Rock just walked in and said, "Here's how we're booking WrestleMania." Like, I think there's far more respect in the sport than to have The Rock fresh off of whatever the hell he was doing. You know, running the XFL, making that deal with the USFL, Which, by the way, I just get a feeling that Vince is mixed into all that shit, and Rock is the face for it all. I don't know why. Vince feels like the Godfather to me at this point, just a really nasty version of the Godfather. But point being, I don't see The Rock walking in and going, "Here's what's going to happen at WrestleMania." There's absolutely no way. I think there's way too much respect there for The Rock to come in and start talking about booking. I don't see it.
That's one of the things that I read. I'm not necessarily saying that is definitely how it happened, but that's just one of the things I read. But but you know, one of the reasons I say it could have happened somewhere else other than WrestleMania is the fact that if we didn't get it now, in the agreement with The Rock for him joining the TKO board, he actually has to wrestle in 2024.
It could be.
I don't know if they would. I don't know if they would. I don't think you can't twist The Rock's arm to wrestle, bro. When this man is already close to being a billionaire. He owns so many companies. I don't see them trying to force him into wrestle if he doesn't want to wrestle. He clearly wants to wrestle, and if he's wrestling, it's only to help the points and the value of the organization. I don't think he's wrestling for any other reason.
What if the Rock gets hurt and like blows his shoulder out and he can't do movies for? I mean, he's putting a lot on the line on himself. He's probably putting future projects he's already signed up for.
It's 80% business, 20%. Hey, I want to do this for my cousin. My estimation. And then with Punk getting injured and Seth being injured, could that have thrown like all the Mania planes just up in the air? They had where they wanted to go, and then all of a sudden, this is part of the reason I hate kayfabe. Because wouldn't it be easier if they would just say, "Hey, look, guys, this guy got hurt," just like what you said, Rodell. This guy got hurt. This guy got hurt. We want to make it up to you guys. We're going to bring The Rock in. How's everybody feel about that? Yay! But it feels forced now. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit's crazy, bro. Wrestling is the most outstanding thing to me. It truly is like poetry, because sometimes it doesn't even make sense. And you got to make sense out of it, dude. This shit's super duper exciting.
From what I've read, though, Rock did get a decent deal just for signing on. I mean, because for signing on to the TKO board, they did say, and what I've read, is that he had to wrestle in 2024. He gets full rights to the Rocky name. So WWE does not own Rocky anymore. The Rock is owned by The Rock. So
okay, that may have already happened, but go ahead. Sorry, I think that may have already been in play.
Well, yeah, but I've heard that was part of the deal for him joining it, and he's getting a salary for it and everything. So he's got a pretty damn good deal for signing on to the board.
Do you see him having to wrestle be a part of a deal like that, Rodell?
I mean, Could it have been in there? Sure. I mean, you could put it. I could put on the Wrestle Talk podcast contract. Be like, hey, I want a bag of green M&Ms in my
Everybody
office
else gets
every
them.
day. And I mean, but you can ask for anything you want. I don't think The Rock doesn't seem to be that way. The Rock is a smart businessman, so he knows what's best for him, what's best for TKO, what's best for the WWE. And if you think about it, his family legacy is all about professional wrestling. He's like, he protects the business. He wants to protect the business. He wants to make the business better.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Right? And we know that was
one of them.
And we know that was a reference to Cody Rhodes saying that was a reference to the McMahons. Don't tell me I don't get any M&Ms. That's not nice to say. But
no M&M for you.
No M&Ms for me.
No for you.
But I mean, we know that is really a shout to the McMahons. But if you think about it, the Samoan family, I mean, the Anoa'i family,
they're one of those
which
other
in companies, yeah. So I mean, I don't get. I just don't get what I don't get.
Brief scenario. Rock does the deal with TKO. The injuries happen, and Paul looks over and goes, "Dwayne, now or never. These two guys got injured. What do you say?" And he's like, $2 million. And Triple H gives him like the nod. $2 million for 20 minutes. Goes out, does a couple of promos, attempts in his mind to save WrestleMania, and it totally effing backfires. And they still move forward with it because they care more about the 10 or 15% that I told you guys about earlier than they do about your feelings or your feelings or your feelings. They don't care. And the fact that Rock was willing to do it, I think, again, if they could just come out and say it, we should be applauding The Rock because we all know he doesn't need to do it. Highest paid actor in Hollywood. He's got tons of investments. He's got this new league, that the unification of the XFL and USFL. It's not a money thing. And all of his partners are super rich too. So it's not like it's just him. So it's certainly,
he's going to be the one.
Go ahead.
And he's going to be the one at Daytona 500 saying, "Gentlemen, start your engines."
That's that Fox money talking right there. But they need that figurehead because Triple H is the guy that wants to handle the wrestling stuff. And Dana's the guy that wants to handle the UFC stuff or whatever. They need a figurehead for it. I think The Rock's a great guy for doing what he's doing because he certainly doesn't have to. He doesn't have to do it for Roman. He doesn't have to do it for us. So it's kind of shitty for me that I think people are pissed off at him because I think he's only doing what he thinks he needs to do for the company. That's why I'm so adamant about the fact that I don't think it's part of the deal. I think he's on the board because of everything else that he brings to the table and trying to be a leader that leads by example. And yes, he may be eye candy to some. I don't disagree with that. Point is, I think he's that much of a stand-up leader. Because I watched him on a couple of different interviews, including Rogan. I'm like, this dude is a real good dude. He's really trying to just make sure all his partners and all his people win. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, if Paul was like, "Hey, bro, funny, you want to jump in there since these two guys got injured?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'll do it." Paul's like, "What do you mean?" "No, bro, remember we were working on it before? Let's do it. If you need me, I'm in. No contracts, no nothing." And then the guy go, "Hey, two. And then they do it for $2 million or whatever. But that's how I see it more playing out because I just don't see it being a part of a contract of a guy that's worth close to $1 billion already. How do you put that shit into a contract? You got to wrestle? Get the fuck out of here. Mean, I bet fuck you, bro. I don't need you.
And you keep the Rock. It keeps the Rock on mainstream. I mean, like you said, Fox with the Daytona 500. You know, you put him. You can put him on ESPN and him talk with, especially with the XFL starting up. You know, you're going to have all these cities, St. Louis, Birmingham, where they were on Monday. Apparently, he was in town. He was in town promoting the Birmingham team, and it was like, you want to, you know, if we're going to do it, let's do it now. I mean, I don't know. I think it's more of net benefit for TKO because it keeps them like on TMZ and everything and all the mainstream stuff.
And that's why it's Rock there because Cody does nothing for that. But I think they're going to ultimately take care of Cody.
Oh yeah,
I think that Sammy may never get taken care of. They may take care of Drew almost to what he deserves, but they're certainly going to take care of him. I have no question about it. No question about it. All right, gentlemen, 8:15. We're rolling today.
Is it really 8:15? Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
Man, that's crazy. Central Time. John, sorry if I was a little standoffish there, man. I like the back and forth, though. I love when we debate things. I love it, bro. I love it. I love when we have contrary conversations because someone's going to be right down the road. So somebody's going to throw some shade later on, and I look forward to that shit because I love receiving it as much as I like giving it pause. I just want to make sure I didn't get caught on that one. But anyway, we're going to hit a quick sponsor spot, if that's cool with everybody. We've got a few minutes before our guest joins us, and we might even have time for a little bit of a shoot and shout segment tonight. So why don't you go ahead and throw up the sponsors there, my friend, and I think we'll let you take this one, Road Dogg. You can help us with the sponsors there, buddy.
I can do that.
They're coming.
Are they coming? Because
they're coming. They're there.
All right, the Wrestle Talk Podcast would like to thank all of our great sponsors: Royal Mills Transportation, Dewan Mills, the CEO, Nobleman's Barber Lounge in KC, Missouri, Kincaid Arcade at the Oak Park Mall, Interstate 70 Sports Media with the one and only the Maestro Jeremy Karp, Little Popeye Designs, those beautiful Wrestle Talk Podcast tumblers, and of course, the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy group, and we've got royalty in the house. We've got the longest reigning hardcore champion in the house, Hardcore Hoss.
That's right.
You're better at teeing them up than I am, Road Dogg. Way to go, man. Way to go. All right, well, before we move on, since you did just mention it, like, we're absolutely going to get a Sunny Money Chris Rodell match at Universe Mania, right, bro? Like, come on. Y'all got to follow through on that.
Yeah, I if I only knew how to actually edit videos, I could
That's
try to
such a cop out, bro. You got some experts right in front of you right now. Bro, we can help you with that. It's easy. All you got to do is say win. Say win. Like Doc Holliday, say win. Okay? All right. So what are we doing here? We're getting close to the interview. I say we squeeze in a little bit of a shoot and shout segment. We haven't done this in a while. We've been missing out on it. Are you guys down?
Yeah, I mean, we can try. I mean,
bring your topics. Everybody in the comment section, I want you to talk your shit. Tell me what's pissing you off. Is it how they're doing Cody? Is it that we keep having to deal with Alpha Academy, but Chad Gable isn't there? What's pissing you off? It doesn't even have to be wrestling related. Let's go ahead and cue up the music, ladies and gentlemen, for this night's edition, 468 of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Shoot and Shout segment. Hit the music, boys.
It's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everything is fun, everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life's on contract. Your best bet's to stay away, motherfucker. It's just one of those days. It's all about the he says, she says bullshit. I think you better quit letting more sit, or you'll be living
with a fat lip.
It's all about the he says, she says.
I bring it down a little bit.
You better quit talking that shit. It's just living with a bad lip. Feeling like a freight train. First one to complain leaves with a blood stain. Darn right, I'm a maniac.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, welcome to this week's edition of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Shoot and Shout segment, where everybody involved, everyone in the comment section, everyone on the screen, we get a couple of moments to decompress and let out anything in the world that happens to be pissing us off. If you're a grown-ass man with big huevos, who wants to go first?
I mean, I can go.
Oh, there's my dog. There's my dog. That's why I call him the Road Dogg. Handle it.
So this weekend has proved a lot about the internet wrestling community. It sucks. It's terrible. People are never happy. How about we just do this? How about we just enjoy what we have? We have a lot of great wrestling out there. We have the WWE. We have AEW. We have New Japan. We have TNA has made strides over the years. Check it out. You have your local wrestling organizations, your indie companies. Like here in St. Louis, we have so many of them: Glory Pro, Dynamo Pro, CHWA, MMWA, SICW. In Kansas City, they have KCXW, Central States Pro. I know I'm gonna miss some of them. Tri-States Wrestling is got
Trailblazer.
Trailblazers coming up.
Fountain City.
Fountain City. They're coming. It's a great time in wrestling. Haas has got great things. He's got WDWA up there in West Virginia. Just enjoy wrestling. Just don't be a hater. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I really don't have anything prepared for this one.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go for it, Night. I don't have anything right at the moment.
Watch this be the one time I'm not long-winded as hell. Just wait. Leave it to me. Okay, y'all are going to be surprised by mine today. I actually came prepared. I was really excited about today's show. And our guest is about to be here. Somebody shot him the link, right?
I'm going to assume Luke did because Luke was in contact with him.
Can we make sure? I don't have trivia either, so we got to make sure. Somebody check on that. All right, my turn. Look at me right here. I want you to hear me while you're typing, okay? I recently, because the internet does suck and people are mean as shit, but there's some really good stuff on the internet. So, World of Statistics on X, ranking the top 100 highest paying jobs in the United States in 2024. I'm going to read a few off to you that are going to be wildly entertaining. Let's start with number one because that's what everybody wants to hear. Highest paying job, and I think they're talking about like blue collar jobs because I'm sure that CEOs and executives make a lot more money, but blue collar jobs. Cardiologist, $350,000 a year in first place. Fifth place, a surgeon, $216,000 a year. 10th place, an obstetrician, $991,931 a year. Okay. And I could keep going down 5 or 10 spots every single time. And I could probably go all the way down to 100. And guess what isn't on here? Teachers aren't here. Firemen aren't here. Police officers aren't on here. United States military aren't on here. People that work with folks that are mentally ill in the prisons, because that's where our mentally ill are going in this country. There are no longer publicly sponsored mental health facilities like there used to be. Look it up if you don't believe me. All these people are going to jail, and there's people that have to work with these people. That's if they're not on the street, of course. They're not on this list either. My question is, what do we really value? I get it, a cardiologist, but also I see a vice president here, an economist at number 49, a cloud engineer at number 25, a software architect at $140K a year at number 19, a quantitative analyst at $153K a year, and I could just keep going. These jobs that allow us to be on the internet are important, but they're not more important than social services and what helps keep you alive when your heart skips a beat. It's never going to make sense to me. It really kind of pisses me off the way that this is it. You can blame capitalism. You can blame the people that have the money using it poorly. It doesn't matter. To me, there is a major problem in this country with inequality, and it's not what everyone talks about. You see it on people's bumper stickers and on their windows and stuff like that. That's not the real inequality in this country. The real inequality in this country is the inequality of opportunity. And so I plead to everybody who's watching today's show to kind of take a closer look at these sorts of things. And when you have an opportunity to volunteer, to give back, to do anything for your community, even if it's just going to the local dog shelter, clean up or whatever, do it, because nobody else is doing it. People are going out to make money and they're not putting other people first. So the fact that none of these social services, I named a few of them, none of them are even the top 100, I think is embarrassing. And I think is shameful. And I think as Americans, because we wave our flag on this show every single week, gentlemen, because we're proud to be members of this country. I still do believe it is the greatest country on God's green earth. But the fact that we're not taking care of the people that took care of us, the fact that a good percentage of the homeless population are former United States military veterans is embarrassing. In the words of Dak Draper, shame on You, America. Shame on you for not taking care of the people that took care of you.
You know what else is awesome that you didn't say?
Bullshit.
You know what else you didn't say on that list? Nurses.
No, they're on here. They make
Oh,
hella
they are?
money.
Oh,
Yeah, they make a lot of money. I skipped them. I know a couple nurses. Yeah, they're well into the $100,000 a year. So
not everywhere. I know some nurses that don't make a whole lot.
Well, again, we're talking about highest paying. So
true.
Like nurses for surgeons, like
yeah,
brain surgeons, heart surgeons, da. But anyway, that's my shoot shout tonight. You're like, yo, Night Owl got real deep on this one, bro. But it's like it's on my heart, bro. So I gotta speak it. It's crazy, man. And by the way, and this might sound insane to some people, I'm gonna include pastors in that list. Because I know pastors that have given so much of themselves that live very meekly so that their flock does well and so that they have opportunity. And I think those guys are always underappreciated as well. And I think they're underpaid. The ones that do it right. Joel Osteen, guys like that, I'm not judging. I think he's doing all right. I'm talking about your local pastor at your local, First Baptist Church up the street. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That really makes a difference in their community.
The church that I am affiliated with, they actually have every year they post the financials and they put on there how much he makes. I'm like, that's all he makes for doing everything. I mean, to me, it should be more.
You're literally trying to save people's lives. That's what they do. That's what they do, and their souls. Matter of fact. So anyway, that's my shoot and shout for the evening. Were we able to verify? Because getting the wild man out of his cave, out of his dwelling, is not an easy thing to do. So I just want to make sure that we got all the T's crossed and the I's dotted when it comes to Wildman Beast. Are we still in tune?
According to Luke, he said he sent it. And he just resent it. So
okay, that's perfect because we're only about 3 to 5 minutes away from the Wildman Beast. So let me tell you something. I'm excited because it gives us an opportunity to get into one more of our high spots topic. But before we do, John, you care to read that message off the screen? Because I think that was something that we probably want to address real quick before we completely move off the topic.
Take mentally
challenged.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Susie says she takes mentally challenged kids to and from school. She's been kicked, headbutted, coughed on, punched, bit, spit on, abused, and have to keep going and deal with it because they can't help it.
I'm gonna pray for a lot of patience for you, Susie. I dealt with kids and people, people that can't help it. It's hard. It's hard on the spirit. Road Dog, isn't that cool?
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I mean, you gotta help out. I mean, let's just be kind. Let's just be kinder. I mean, as generalized people, let's just be kinder.
My boss at work, he definitely doesn't have to. So he went and gave stem cells for his cousin who has cancer. Back to that one. So he's going through those treatments to give stem cell, and that shit is not pleasant.
No,
it's not pleasant.
It can't be.
Nope. And because he's compatible with his cousin, he does that once a week. He goes and he spends his Sunday giving stem cells, so his cousin can have a chance to live. So Susie, what the examples I gave, the guy that I work with, Derek, these are heroes without capes, y'all. So whatever difference you can make in your neighborhood, go do that. Do that. Guys, do we have time for one more topic? Because I think we had one more. Or am I off base here? Can somebody confirm?
I'm looking at the pictures.
Okay, let's look through them real quick.
We talked, I guess, the mania kickoff. Was it? Do we want to do?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's do it. Let's have the conversation. By the way, the fact that it's XL is pretty freaking badass. That's kind of a good look in general. That's super awesome.
Because it's Mania 40. So,
and the fact that it's like the Super Bowl and then WrestleMania immediately afterward. Now, do we have a question to go along with this?
Yeah, there was. I'm looking for it. Hold on.
Gotcha. Damn.
That was the question.
Oh, yeah, we definitely didn't talk about that. See that comment on Facebook there about damage control. That's a good one. I'll go ahead and read this one off, fellas. It says, do you think there will be big unexpected news from the press conference on Thursday or just confirming what we already know? Well, what do we already know? We know that it's going to be we know Ripley is going against Nia?
No, she's actually going to face the winner of the Elimination Chamber now. She's at WrestleMania. She's facing Nia at Elimination.
So Nia's not in the chamber?
Nia is not in the chamber. So far, only Becky Lynch is qualified for the chamber.
What? I don't know if that makes sense. I would like to see this thing with Nia carry all the way over. Wouldn't you guys?
They like to do triple threats at WrestleMania, so you never know. You might do Nia, Becky. But yeah,
you mean those matches where one of them lays outside for 10 minutes to start the match?
Pretty much. It gets, or if you want to get the title off of Rhea and not make her look bad, you have Nia take the pin.
Why do you want to take her off? Why would you want to take it off of her?
I don't want to take. I'm just saying, if you want, I was just posing the question. I'm not saying that's what I want.
I'm just playing.
Don't twist my words, Night Owl.
All right. Anything unexpected? Are the tag team belts even up for competition? Elimination Chamber.
I don't. I think there is there was a number one contenders match. I don't know if it's going to be, because a SmackDown person and a Raw team, it was DIY, and I believe it was Pretty Deadly, are going to face each other this Friday. I don't know what they're fighting for.
And they're fighting for the winner gets the tag team shot, and I believe it is at Elimination Chamber.
Is it Elimination Chamber?
I'm not positive, but I believe that's where it is.
Hey, can we just talk? Let's just talk about the Elimination Chamber. They're going to do it. They're going to do it live at prime time in Perth, which means it's going to be.
I'm getting up for that. I'm getting up.
You're nuts. I'll catch the.
I'll just take the next day off, bro. I'm tripping about that.
Well, it's on a Saturday. It's on a Saturday, so it's not like it's going to be.
That's even better. Hell yeah! Hey, I've done it for Wrestle Kingdoms before. I stayed up super late, bro, watching that. It's worth it, man.
Catch me sleeping. How about that?
Yeah, it's just a one night sleep modification. It's not that big of a deal. You just sleep in, and then you could get up like an hour before, bro. It's all good, bro. It'll be fun.
It's gonna be international. That's true. Hey, just he could be out drinking.
We could do a private, unrecorded watch along right here on the streaming service, right?
Man, I don't do it.
That would be fun. Unrecorded watch along, because we're not publishing it, so there's no penalty for it. That would be fun if we could all watch the pay-per-view together and commentate.
Apparently the FWWC is going to be up early for that one.
Yeah. There's a couple of matches already getting booked for that. So, but yeah, is there anything that you guys aren't expecting out of the press conferences? Obviously, I think it'll help sort out this whole mess with Cody a little bit further. You heard what Bully Ray said about them, sitting at opposite ends of the table, and then The Rock acknowledges Cody. You guys see anything crazy happening?
Personally, no. I think it's going to be boilerplate. Could there be a surprise? Who knows? It's the WWE. You never know. I don't know.
Well, and I believe they said last night that everybody who's on that press release poster will be at the press conference. So there's going to be stuff concerning everybody who is on that. And the only one that's on there that I don't know what they're involved in would be Bianca. What the hell is the EST doing on there? Yeah.
The only thing I could think of is that maybe it's to promote her show on Peacock with her husband.
Yep, that they have been pushing the hell out of that recently.
And there's a possibility that she could qualify for the Elimination Chamber. It didn't necessarily say it was just going to be all Raw people.
That's true. And we haven't. You just said it. We haven't even gotten a chamber yet. So some of that press conference is going to be talking about Elimination Chamber, in my opinion. They have to, right? They can't just skip over it and be like, oh, we're talking whole WrestleMania stuff. I think that would do their own product a disservice if they did it that way.
Well, but then why call it the WrestleMania press conference?
Why would they do it before Elimination Chamber? It doesn't make sense to me. I'm having a hard time processing this. Rodell, why are they doing it before Elimination Chamber? Doesn't it take away from Elimination Chamber?
And another question. Why are they
Elimination Chamber?
Why are they doing it in Las Vegas? Isn't WrestleMania in Pennsylvania or in Philadelphia?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Because when we were talking about it a minute ago, I was like, oh, it's in Vegas, just like the Super Bowl. But I guess that led me to assume that the pay-per-view was also going to be in Las Vegas, which is not, like you said, WrestleMania is in Philly. We talked about that earlier too.
Is SmackDown in Vegas?
A lot not making sense. A lot of shit. A lot not making sense. Maybe Elimination Chamber is in Vegas. Somebody look that up.
No,
do we know where
Elimination Chambers in Perth, in Australia?
Oh, it's in Perth, right? Because of the 3:00 in the morning thing that we just talked about. Yeah,
I'm gonna need you to catch up with
SmackDown?
me. Okay, are we starting to miss Vince a little? Some of this shit's not making sense to me. I don't understand. Why are we having a WrestleMania press conference?
Maybe Vince is still in charge and we don't know it.
Honestly, it's probably
it should make more sense than this.
It's probably in Vegas because of Super Bowl week. So I mean,
trying to get the rub.
Yeah,
I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll tell you what though. I think this is a great topic. And we always want to make sure that we appease the Wrestle Talk podcast family, because above and beyond the main stuff that we already discussed, there's like a lot of great underlying stories going on. We alluded to Gunther a little bit earlier. Bailey breaking up with Damage Control. I don't know. Did you guys see this coming with the Asian girls turning against her?
Yes, I mean you can kind of
see it coming a little bit.
I mean, I guess maybe because I've
too
been
soon?
around. Because
that's really the question. Too soon?
I mean, no. I think it's ran its course. I think it should have happened a while ago. But adding Asuka and Kairi Sane, that just makes it. Now you wonder if Dakota is going to stick with him, which I think she is. I think Bayley's going to go off on her own. She's going to become a face again. I mean. Just saying, what happens if she comes back with her hugger music on WrestleMania on the biggest stage?
Bro, the biggest pop of the night
for
any lady.
The waving
the inflatable men.
Yeah.
Is Nitro on yet?
Shut up, Tim.
Yo, I'll give Tim some credit. Tim, you're the first person to pick up on it, I think. So we actually started recently starting the show at 7:05. For what reason, Road Dogg? Because the homage, baby.
Old school to TBS, 7:05.
The old school TBS is 7:05, baby. So we started running the show at 7.
I thought Thunder was on tonight. God, Thunder was a bad. That was
man. What, you didn't like Thunder, bro?
I mean, it was okay.
Such a big deal, man.
It was okay, but
it's like when AEW kicked off their second show. Oh my god! Listen, bro. I listen. What's it called? I can't even remember what it's called anymore.
What, Collision?
Yeah, bro. I know the main one is Dynamite, but yeah, and like, come on, man.
And can we just I'm just gonna throw this out here. R-Truth is the fucking man. He is a fucking national treasure and should be protected at all costs.
R-Truth is such a freaking goat. I don't disagree with that at all. What's been your favorite spot with him recently? Was it the Royal Rumble stuff? Was it what he did this past week? There's been so much of it, man. It's freaking priceless.
I mean, just him thinking. Have you seen the shirts he made with the family portrait?
Bottom?
Yeah. Oh no, there's a family portrait shirt that they made with the Judgment Day, and apparently they're some of the top sellers in the WWE right now. I mean, he's got to be first ballot Hall of Fame, right? I mean, honestly,
I think first ballot may be a little bit of a stretch, unless you're going to put him in some special category. Just because the in-ring accomplishments are, it's like we all love Doink the Clown, but was he a first ballot Hall of Famer? I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? So here's what I will say about R-Truth. I think he injects the comedy that wrestling needs, because they are doing more of the Judgment Day stuff and more of the tribal chief, bloodline stuff. So it does feel darker. It feels a little bit more aggressive, which is what we've all been asking for. But we also do want just the right mixture of comedy, and nobody does it better than R-Truth. I love that him and the Miz keep kind of crossing paths, because I'm always wondering what they're going to do with him next, right?
And honestly, when R-Truth needs to, he can still put on a decent match in the ring. And he's like 50-something years. He's older. I mean, He's amazing. Him and the Miz together are hilarious. Just
no, they absolutely make a great team. For me, one of my favorite moments thus far is absolutely him accidentally coming out to the women's Royal Rumble and
yes,
be like, "Oh shit, this ain't. Oh my bad. This ain't the right line." Then he came back out later for the men's. Dude, I freaking love that. And then was it just this past Monday? What Damian Priest was like, you know what, bro? I ain't even got the energy to deal with you. Make yourself at home. Then he comes out and all the freaking all the gear, and then he cost JD McDonough the match. It's so good, man. And they give me a dose of that every single week, dude. I love it.
What's hilarious about that is the blue bucket that he had. They had to cover up I believe it had a Bud Light logo on it, so they probably had to cover it up. That's what the vendors use when they rock around the arena to sell the alcohol products.
Your beer.
It's your beer here.
Your beer here.
I mean, we've had a few beers at wrestling events before, so.
That's a great call out, bro. Great call out. What were those things? The shorty shots back at the Dynamo shows, remember? Like shorty shots were like $2.
Yeah. At the Stratford, when we were running Stratford. They tore down that Stratford.
I love that place, man. I got to meet Mike Outlaw's father there. And then man, shout out to Shorty Biggs too, by the way, for those shorty shots. Those things were fire.
Hey, did you see Mike Outlaw on SmackDown or
on
Raw this past
week? Yeah, I'm sure, and I don't know what his status is, whether he's single or married or whatever, but if he's single, getting squished by Nia, probably not the worst thing in the world.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
We'll have to interview him and ask, hey, so how'd that feel, buddy?
I didn't recognize the other one. I'm surprised because usually whenever they're in town, like in KC or St. Louis, we at least know the people that are on. I'm like, I don't recognize any of those guys. So the only person I recognized right away was Mike Outlaw. So
yeah, fireball shots. Let's go, Susie. Yeah, shout out to Mike Outlaw for killing it last night. All right, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? I just got word. The wild man is out of his lair, and we got a very special introduction plan for this tonight. He's settling in. We're going to let him get his camera set, to landscape mode and make sure his audio is good. But I do want to do one thing before we get into it. Road Dog, if you could do me a favor and throw up the sponsors, we're going to hit this now. We'll go ahead and let Hardcore Hoss handle this one for us. Hoss, you mind hitting the sponsors one more time before we get into tonight's featured guest of the evening.
All right. As always, we love to thank our great sponsors, Royal Mills Transportation, to the one and only Dewan Mills, Nobleman's Barber Lounge and KCMO, Ask for Pete the Barber, Kincaid Arcade at the Oak Park Mall, Interstate 70 Sports Media, Jeremy Cart and the guys over there absolutely killing it. Little Popeyes Designs, where you can get your own Wrestle Talk podcast tumbler, and the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. And of course, as always, we want to thank all of our fans here for supporting us, no matter whether you're joining in on the replay or whether you're joined us live. We couldn't be here without our sponsors and our fans. So we want to thank you guys for hanging in there with us too.
Hey, John, I got an idea. You think we can record you doing that's right. We'll load it onto YouTube. And then we'll pull the MP3 and we'll load it into the machine. What do you say?
Let me search. I think I actually have an MP3 of that, but let me check.
Ah, yes! If I can get a that's right drop, bro, you'll definitely make my week. So let's try to get that uploaded for next week. All right, Road Dog, it's on you, baby.
Are we sure he's ready to go down there? So
bottom of the ninth. All right, no, he's gonna be ready in just a second. Bottom of the ninth. Okay, 2 outs, 2 on, down 2. You're the win and run. Count on you to do an awesome introduction for the Wild Man. But before we do that, let him finish getting set up. I want to say this. I love that over the 468 episodes, and you've been around for a lot of them, that we always go back to the roots. We always go back to the old school. And believe me, I'm tempted to interview a lot of the newer talent that we've never heard of and, to have new guests on the show that we've never had on the Wrestle Talk podcast before. But, bro, at the end of the day, for me, when we're able to have the OGs on, when we're able to have the guys that help lay the groundwork for this business, that's really kind of the heartbeat of Wrestle Talk, right? Like, I still feel like an infant in this pro wrestling game as far as my experience as a fan and being in it as a commentator and doing some ring announcing, hype man stuff or whatever. But, bro, and maybe it's just who I am. Maybe I've been called an old soul more than once. There's just something to me about when we get an opportunity, the guys have been doing this for 20, 30, 35, 40 years in the business, and they share their knowledge and their experience, because we really are reading the unwritten books of the legends of our sport. So whether we're talking to Savio Vega or $1 Million Man, or we're talking to to Tracy Smothers or some other legend in the sport that maybe not the casual fan may not know, but you and I both know.
Mm-hmm.
Like the kind of guys that John Cosper writes a book about. Guys like that. That's really what makes me the most excited, Rodell, because there is really a torch passing process that's taking place. These OGs, like the guys that we go to CAC and honor, someday they're trusting us to pass on their stories and to pass on their legacy and to pass on their memory and the morals and the standards of the business. So to me, it's a privilege to be handed that down, even as a silly podcaster, and have the opportunity to help bring that baton of pro wrestling to the next generation, like the kids that are, like my son's age, 14, 15, 16. It's cool, man. It really is. It's a privilege. So tonight we have one of those gentlemen joining us, okay? And I believe he's ready. So I'll turn it over to you. Big play, home run time, baby, because we've got the Wild Man ready to go. Road Dogg, it's all yours, baby. Take it.
All right, wrestling fans, Wrestle Talk podcast family, it is my pleasure to welcome in our featured guest of the week. He is in his final retirement tour, where this Saturday he will be at CHWA Domestic Disturbance in Edwards, Illinois, Friday the 16th at MWA Live in Beatrice, Nebraska, and Squared Circle Megastars on Saturday the 17th for his final match in Berwyn, Illinois. It is my pleasure to welcome to the Wrestle Talk podcast the one and only, the Wildman Beast.
Wow, man. Woo-hoo! The Wild Man is in the house. Wild Man, can we hear you? Let's check the audio, baby. Can we hear you?
Oh, we have an audio issue, it looks like, maybe.
Okay, it looks like we don't have any audio from you, Wild Man. We're going to give you a chance to do that one more time, okay? Come back in, buddy. Okay, we're going to bring the Wild Man back on in just a second. You guys saw him. He was ready to go. He was here. I love it. I love it. People are excited. I'm excited. John, let's see if we can't help the Wild Man work out his audio issues. We're gonna jump on it. It's okay. Everybody relax. It's going to be fine. People are real excited to see him, though, okay? So let's get the Wild Man set back up. But you heard what I was saying, Rodell. Like,
yeah,
when I went to my first indie show, bro, I got to see Derek Stone, Jeremy Wyatt, Michael Strider, guys like that. Guys that maybe in the grand scheme of professional wrestling, people won't know about. But for those who lived it in the area, we know and we'll never forget the memories that these guys gave. I mean, I remember Durden and Cruz. Somebody going through the sheetrock. That's with me, man. That's with me just as much as Stone Cold being Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania.
Exactly. That's those moments. Yep.
Yeah, dude. All right, Wild Man.
Can you hear me, gentlemen?
We can hear you now, bro. Yes.
Right, one favor. Can you turn your phone sideways?
You want to see the full girth?
Yeah, I want to. Yeah,
there we go, brother.
Yeah, let us go. There we go. Yeah, we got you at Landscape No Daddy.
Beastie,
welcome, Wild Man. Beastie,
how you been, my brother? I haven't seen you in forever. The last time I saw you was at the Izzy Blackwell Memorial Show for PWE.
Yes, I've been doing good, man. Just getting old, and it's come to the end of my journey.
Wow.
Yeah,
well, we're gonna talk about that journey, man.
It's been a long time, and I guess maybe we would be remiss to start. I want to start the show sad, but as you know, recently we lost a legend here in the St. Louis area. We lost Frank Reed. So
Yes.
do you have any memories of Frank that you'd like to tell the Wrestle Talk podcast family?
Yes, Frank Reed was one of the greatest promoters I've ever worked for. I remember when he first brought me down, the late great Osiris and Pretty Boy Floyd brought all of us up, from Chicago and came down there. At that time I was still linked up with WCW and came down and did an awesome show. And he's like, "You guys are crazy." And from that point on, our friendship basically became like, instead of friends and wrestlers, we became like close family and stuff. I knew two of his sons at the time, Ricky and Randon Root, and Frank's going to be truly missed. But I will be down for his homecoming, before my event Saturday for CHWA. So I'll be attending the wake and his funeral.
Yeah, I mean, he gave a lot of wrestlers in the St. Louis area and the Illinois area they're basically their start.
Right. When I got the news, excuse me, that he had passed away, it kind of hit home for me. It's like, wow, I'm losing too many of my wrestling brothers, and it's like, no, this can't be true.
Yeah, it's sad. It's terrible. I mean, he will be missed here in the St. Louis area. So
Definitely.
So I guess since you're on your retirement tour, how do you look back at the so many years that you put into this business? What are you looking forward to most into your second stage of life, with not having to be in the ring?
Well, it's gonna be kind of weird, not traveling on the road or, basically, having promoters, hey, we want to book you, that's gonna be gone. The body's really beat up, going on 53 years old and 36 years in the wrestling business, when it's time for you to give it up, it's not just a mind thing, it's just when your body tells you, hey, enough's enough, when it takes me an hour and a half to basically get out of bed and try to walk around, I have bad knees, arthritis, I've had so many injuries in wrestling, and it's just to the point where, you can't really do what you want to do in life.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks getting old, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm at that age whenever I stand up from a chair, there's always some kind of a noise I make, like a cracking of the knees or something like that. Renee knows what I'm talking about. He's not quite. You're muted. You're muted, Renee.
And I'm more agile than a jungle cat, bro. I don't know who you talking about, bro.
You tore your Achilles stepping out of a car. No,
oh geez.
No, it was diving into a swimming pool. Get it right.
Oh, okay. That's the story we're gonna go with. So
basically, once you hit the 50s, it's like a car. You hit that 50,000 mark, things start to break down.
Isn't that sad how it goes? It's just like you hit that point and then it's like downhill from there. So
yeah.
I know Renee's got we got some more questions, and we got some great comments coming in. There's a lot of people. Rough Cut Rick Ruby's in the house. Jacob Kappas is in the house. Apparently there were some broken hotel beds back in the day with some moon salts for people.
Yeah. We want to hear all about that. Come on, man.
Yeah,
let it all out, Beastie.
Back then, and when we were young, when I was young and wild, doing moonsaults, flipping, and the guys basically know hotels that have Tim Johns and Ruby. Don't ever get hotels that have hot tubs in them.
And if you do, bring a lot of Lysol wipes, you dig?
Okay, Renee, I'll let Renee take a little bit. He's got a good question. So
I hope so, man. I hope so. Well, Beastie, again, thank you for being here. As you can see, I got the whole board set up with your name on it, man. your name on the marquee like it has been for such a long time in the professional wrestling business. And if you haven't heard this already, man, let me tell you, it's a little heartbreaking. I got to see you and the Chief at a Kula Kula go at it a few different times. And I've just always been a fan of the way that you guys conduct your business. I think it's a page that a lot of young talent should take a page out of. You guys obviously sacrifice your bodies, but later on in your careers, you learn how to work away that you didn't necessarily have to go a million miles a minute, and you still made it wildly entertaining. So I think people need to like definitely continue to hear that. So thank you for all those contributions. And I guess the thing that I wanted to ask you first and foremost was when you talk about impact, because I've got people on my thread here all the way out in California. We've had people in Florida check in earlier today. We've got folks in Philadelphia, Baltimore, West Virginia, and Virginia here today as well. Of course, the Midwest is heavily represented on the Wrestle Talk podcast. So when we talk about impact and the impact that you feel like you've left with your legacy, what is that impact? What is that legacy? What is that memory of the Wildman that you want, that you wish, that you pray that people will have of you beyond your ability to stay inside the ring physically when you put your career kind of in a nutshell?
Well, I will like to people, when people think of my legacy once I'm out of the ring, is basically, how I got in there for someone being 400, back in my, when I was overweight, I was 615 pounds and can move like a cheetah in the ring and do stuff that
talking shit, Wildman, talking shit. I like it.
People thought, oh yeah, this guy's gonna be bloated, gassed out, and stuff like this. And then when they actually see what I can do in the ring, they're like, holy crap, this guy can move. He's a big boy and he's doing suplex and drop kicks and he can actually wrestle. I've gotten in the ring with some of the best independent wrestlers like Paula Tomaselli, a lot of great guys. My final match is going to be with another great legend on February 17th, Mike Anthony from old Windy City Wrestling back in the day. He's one of the greatest wrestlers. I mean, for me to get that opportunity again to wrestle Mike Anthony for my final hoorah, it's going to be an honor and a privilege. And, and my family and all my loved ones and a lot of wrestling friends are coming up from Ohio, Iowa. Some guys are coming up from the Missouri area. It's going to be, and a lot of independent wrestlers from the Windy City are actually coming to see my final match. And yes, it's going to be a tearjerker because I really don't want to retire, but I know my time is here, and I got to do what's best for me and my body.
It's also going to be a party.
Yeah,
I can very much see it being like emotional and a little bit hard, but I can also see a lot of laughs, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement, a lot of boos, boo. I guess I want to ask you this. You don't have to let the cat out of the bag, but you're talking about your final match. Like, are you going to pull out kind of all the stops in a way? Are you going to, maybe, is there a move, something that you've been wanting to do? And then you're like, you know what? If this is my final hurrah, I've been wanting to do, I don't know, like a 5-star, frog splash off the top. I don't know. Whatever you have in mind. Like, is there something that maybe you got in your bag that people should definitely make sure they make their way out there so that they can see it? Because I can imagine there's probably one trick up your sleeve that you haven't shown the people yet. Wow, man. You wouldn't be the Wildman if you didn't have a trick up your sleeve. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking if my family doesn't, get like shocked about it, I may be doing a moonsault or a 450 splash off the top.
What? Wow. Okay. Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. If you have the opportunity to see the Wildman in his final match, you may see something that you've never ever seen before, even if you've been following him for a long time, dude. That's freaking crazy. Well, I guess I'll move on to my next question because you brought up family, and that's something that's very, very important to me in my life. How has your career positively and negatively impacted your personal family relationships? Because wrestling is not the easiest trade. We all know what it's like on the road. Uncle Bob talks about it all the time. Okay. How has and share as much as you feel comfortable with, Wildman. This is all
Well,
about you, Beastie.
well,
Positives and negatives.
there's been a lot of positive. A lot of guys come up to me and ask me for advice and how do I do it, and I don't. There's some guys that have egos, but I can tame those guys, and they seem to feel comfortable coming to ask me questions. Hey, can you check out my match? And stuff like that. And then there's the negative thing. A lot of guys who I help train, there are a few forget where they came from and who trained them. And I try to explain them. You could do a match, you could tell a story without doing all these flips, flops, and doing all these hurricanranas and spinneroonies and all this other stuff. If you get in there, tell a story, and actually wrestle, that's what the crowd is basically looking for. And I tell the guys that do all this flippity floppity stuff, it's like a tennis match. No one's going to sit for 10, 20 minutes and watch a tennis match go back and forth because you're doing your head like doop, doop, doop,
Boring.
doop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people get tired of that. They want to see some storytelling. And a lot of the new guys don't know what psychology is in this business. That's a lost thing, and that's a lost entity in wrestling. A lot of guys want to go out there and get all their moves and all their glorified stuff in. It's like you can do 1 million moves and the fans won't get into it. The most I've actually done in my matches is maybe 10 moves, and within the promoters tell me I want you to go 20 minutes. Okay, within that 20 minutes, I've done 10 moves, and the fans love it. And I've done moves where I've done the Vader bomb that I used to call the Beast bomb, where I climb to the second rope and I jump on a person and land on them. But as I got older, the knees started getting bad, so I decided, okay, let's bring back the sit down bonsai, and the fans go crazy on that because when they see me drop down on someone's chest, they like, holy crap, and they
He's dead.
yeah, yeah,
You bastards.
yeah.
Well, Wild Man, and I appreciate that insight, and I figured that you were going to have a lot of knowledge to share, which is why I think that even if you step away from wrestling, I think you need to call our buddy John Cosper. I think you need to continue to share that knowledge. But I do want to reiterate my question, and I think it's very important. So from a family perspective, though, outside of the guys you trained and the people you've worked with in the business, how has your life on the road and the toll that you've put on your body affected your family relationships? Like your wife, your children, your cousins, your family, like, has that been something that they've been super supportive of? And I ask you because this is something that I spent 5 years doing commentary and wrestling, and it was a constant battle, like a work life. Like, I got children, I got a wife, but this is also something that I care about. I'm very passionate about it. Some even said that I was pretty decent at doing commentary when I was out on the road. So I think this is another one of those things that maybe you can help pass the baton to the younger generation and explaining to them how it does affect you from that perspective. You don't have to get into anything too detailed if you don't want, but how did you deal with that for so long? Like, you're leaving, you're traveling, you're coming home, and then it's a lot, bro. It's a lot, and not everybody can do it. You know what I mean?
It with me traveling, my family was very supportive of it, especially my mom and dad. They were very supportive. They told me, hey, look, if this is something that you like, we'll support you, follow your dreams, and reach for the sky, reach for the stars. With my younger brothers and sisters, whenever there were important dates like their graduations or parties or whatever, I took that time off to spend time with the family. But yes, I'm still a family man. But if something drastically happened, hey, look, my family comes first before the wrestling. And
so you always kept that balance. I love to hear that.
Yes, and a lot of guys didn't see that perspective. Oh, I'm booked here. Okay, but what about your family? Oh, I'm not worried about it. You can't be a superstar because wrestling comes and go, but you only have one family in your life, and you need to cherish all those memories and all those moments with your family, no matter what, especially all your loved ones, your partners, or whatever. You need to spend that time with your significant other, your mom, your dad, your brothers and sisters, because we never know when tomorrow, what's going to bring tomorrow. So cherish those memories. You know, so what if you have a wrestling booking? Your family comes first before the booking. That show can always, just if you're professional and tell a promoter or booker, whoever, say, hey, look, I need to be with my family at this time of need or something. Your family is more important because once you lose your family, there in your own mindset, you're not up there because you have no one to turn to and talk to. So I say cherish all those moments. Yes, wrestling, going on the road, traveling is fun. You meet different guys, they become your best friend and stuff. But nothing's more important than your family.
Remember, I don't know if you're a big fan of The Godfather or not, BC, but there's a line there that Vito Corleone, I think you'll remember it if you are a fan. He says, you can never really be a man if you don't spend time with your family.
That's
So,
true.
so I think nothing speaks truer to what you just said than that line from a fantastic movie. Quick note here, Beastie. The
Yes.
legendary Herb Simmons himself said that he was very happy to see you. It was very good to see you this past weekend. Superstar Beast, man, you want to talk to us about this past weekend real quick? What'd you get into,
Yes.
brother? Talk to us about the business. Talk to us about the business.
The business. I was at a wrestling event in Mount Vernon, Illinois for IWA Productions, and Cowboy Bob Orton was the special guest. He was signing autographs, and Herb Simmons came in the dress room, and we just caught up on a lot of lost time. And you know, I respect Herb Simmons. He respects me, and we just talked about the old days. And he just wished me congratulations on my retirement. I told him I'll still stay in contact with him. We just talked about a lot of the old days and a lot of the old school wrestling that's he said a lot of the good wrestlers are retiring and leaving the business. I told him he's like, he's like, well, what are you gonna do afterward? Well, I'm going to take the time off that I need to take and I have a operation coming up. I have to get a total knee replacement. So
We'll
with
be
me
praying for you,
retiring,
BC. We'll be praying
thank
for you.
thank you. That's one of the things that I need. You may see the Beast come back, not wrestling, but as a manager. That's
The
a lot.
mind, you got to share the mind, bro. Manager, write a book, audio. I don't care what you do, man. You got to share the knowledge with the people, man.
Yep, I've shared a lot of knowledge to a lot of people, and then there are some people that I've actually trained. They pass on the knowledge, and when they actually get in there and work matches and stuff, man, a lot of people like, where did you learn it from? And it was like the Wildman Beast trainer is like, oh, geez, he taught you guys this. They're like, yeah, he taught us the old school way. And he's like, oh, I mean, nowadays, I was still learning this old school wrestling, but nothing is better than old school wrestling. Just go out there, tell a
Amen.
story, psychology.
Okay, you talk about telling stories. I'm going to throw it back to Rodell here in just a second, but my man Jacob, he dropped this one here, but this one right here is the one that really got me, okay? So he says, I cherish the times we had to fight out of a bar in Hannibal with Mayor, I'm going to add Mayor, Glenn Jacobs. Bro, BC, you got to tell us that story. What do you mean you fight out of a bar in Hannibal, Missouri with Glenn Jacobs? Please do tell. Please.
That was a crazy night. We had it just got kind of wild. People wanted to try to test us and stuff, and it was just broke down to and the bouncers couldn't hold Mayor Jacobs Jacobs back neither could back then I was called I hope I can use this word. I was one of the being short. I was a strong guy, and and so I used to be a bouncer besides wrestling, so I knew how to handle people. And the bouncers like, look guys, you gotta go. We can't hold you guys back, and you're going to beat up half our bar, and we just got in the vehicle and laughed. It was, yeah, we got kicked out of there. I'm like, yeah, let's go somewhere else.
Well, BC, bro, thank you for sharing that story. And guess what? I got a little surprise for you for being so generous and sharing that story. The gentleman who helped facilitate this interview, a guy who would make a tremendous host and MC at any event. I mean, any event that you could think of. As a matter of fact, he'd be my number one overall pick if I was hosting an event. Hope y'all are listening out there. Ladies and gentlemen, a guy that is the backbone of the Wrestle Talk podcast, always comes up with the best trivia questions. Shoot, that crazy game show we did a couple of weeks ago, the Trivia Challenge, this guy put it all together. My fam, my friend, y'all love him, except Rodell. I'm not sure how you feel. The one and only.
I love this guy.
Skywalker Luke Roberts.
All right, gentlemen, Beast. I got to tell you, man, it's been a long time, brother. And like I said, we're only as old as we feel. And some days we feel like we're 19 again. Other days we feel like we're about 919. But I got to tell you, it's a great thing to have you here on the program. And you know something? I'm going to level with you guys. Most times I got my notes. I got everything taken care of for the show. But for the Wild Man, who cares? We don't need notes for the Beast. I'm going to let you right now. Beast and I have known each other many, many years. Matter of fact, we talked about RCW. And he also talked about, going to talk about the MVWA promotion here in just a little bit. True story. I wrestled. I was a young kid. And again, I was young and I didn't listen. And Beast pulled me aside and said, hey, you got to do this and this. I'm like, okay, respect your veterans, respect your elders. And once Beast saw that I was for real, and I mean, again, I wasn't as big as I am now. Once Beast saw that, he took me in like family, and he's been that way for the better part of 30 years. And there have been times where I've had wrestlers try to get personal with me. I remember one night that I had a guy try to break my leg. And as soon as we got through the curtain, who was the first man to have my back? Wildman Beast. When I traveled to Chicago, and I go 5.5 hours to Chicago, and Beast doesn't tell us there's 30 miles of road construction. And we wind up before we can turn around, having to turn around in Wisconsin. We get in our hotel room with 1.5 hours to spare. Another night or another morning of moonsaults on the bed. And then I know Beast will remember this one. And Rodell, you've heard the story too. The night or the morning, I should say, we were there live for an event. And most of the guys were ready to go. But there's a good friend of ours, longtime friend of ours, who decided that he was going to live the partying lifestyle. And we all wound up going to the Old Country Buffet. Give you an idea, it wasn't one or two. It was like 10 or 12 of us. And I remember Beast, wonderful man that he is, and a good friend of ours, a man by the name of Billy Bob. Two men that would scare anybody. And they talk about what they're going to get on the buffet. They talk about their eggs, their flapjacks, and their chili, and all this stuff. And the guy who went out partying all night, I think, did the 40-yard dash in under 2 seconds. He hurdled the table, went to the bathroom, and we didn't see him for pushing an hour. But the thing is, he didn't listen to Beast. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys, when it comes down to it, when I found out we were going to be able to have the Beast on tonight, I got to tell you, first of all, I mean, again, you talked about it, Chris. This coming Saturday night, CWA Domestic Disturbance in Edwards, Illinois, MWA next Friday, and, of course, the wrestling on Saturday, Wrestling Mike Anthony. I'm going to tell you right now, Beast made it a point, the road trips, all the times. Had an opportunity a few years ago to see him live when he was competing. I think he was competing against Chief out of Kula Kula at SICW. And this man, he's a scary guy. But I'm a level here a little bit. When I saw him back after the matches, I made sure he wasn't in front of the fans. I made sure that the tough man, the big man, the Beast himself, it was like not time and never best. I mean, we've been friends for the better part of 30 years. And I got to say, Beast, on behalf of the wrestling community, not just in the St. Louis area, but the bi-state and all throughout the country and throughout North America, because I mean, some of your trips to Puerto Rico, The wrestling business is definitely going to be a different place without you in it. And I'm going to tell you right now, on behalf of myself, my brother, and my family, I want to say thank you for everything you've done for me, everything you've done for my family, both myself and my brother. And I want to say thank you for the wrestling community, both inside and outside the ring, because you let it all out there each and every time. And I got to say again, we're family, and we're always going to be that way.
All right. Thank you. Woo. Thanks, brother. That means a lot. Got me tearing up over here. Wow. Thank you.
I wasn't planning on that, Beast. I really wasn't. But you know something else, too, guys? I do have to share one more story. And Beast, you're going to laugh about this. This was an MVWA. Beast was hardcore before hardcore was cool. And Rodell knows my brother. I think you may have met him, Renee. Beast is a big dude. My brother's a big dude. I think between the two of them, and again, Beast, I'm on a level with people. I think we were pushing half a ton between the two of you at the time.
Yeah.
And they had a fans bring the weapons match. And to give you an idea, my best friend, somebody I've known for longer than anybody on this planet, they gave him the key to the Foot Locker with all the weapons.
Oh, shit.
And the only problem was that nobody told him that he was supposed to give the wrestlers the key whenever they were wanting to get into the weapons box. All I remember from being back behind the curtain is seeing Beast's catcher mitt-like hand on my best friend's skull, and he had that fist drawn back, ready to level him to get the key. And for some reason or another, the key goes flying. Doesn't hit the guy, but the key goes flying. So Beast innovated and put my brother's head through the Foot Locker to get to the weapons.
Yeah. Just get to one way or another. Damn, Beastie.
Damn. Wasn't there a chicken pot pie in there?
Chicken pot pie. Chicken pot pie.
Pot.
Legit. During this fans bring the weapons match, someone brought in the stop sign from outside in front of the building. And occasions, they ripped up the actual stop sign, concrete and all, and drug it into the arena. And we're just like, I don't think you can do that.
We did.
Yeah, that was. I'm like, because when I get to the locker room, I'm like, what the hell? And when I was getting, going back to my hotel, and I'm like, there used to be a stop. I'm like, no way. I'm like, holy crap, they did do it. Yeah.
Apparently there was a diaper in the mix as well. Tim John's bringing up here. But now that we're getting into the nitty gritty.
Well, you guys, I got a serious question to ask. And again, there was a time for a couple years that I was in the wrestling business, but I wasn't able to compete in the ring. As Beast talked about, injuries are a part of professional wrestling. And Beast, I want you to tell the listeners of the Wrestle Talk podcast, I want you to talk about this. There was an incident in the Mississippi Valley Wrestling Alliance. I think it was back in '97. Beast is as tough as they come. But do you want to explain to the listeners, the viewers of the Wrestle Talk podcast, about your run-ins? You can call him Mabel. You can call him Viscera. You can call him Big Daddy V. Would you care to explain what happened? Because I'm going to tell you, I watched it after the fact, and oh my, is about all I can put on it. Beast, gotta tell the story, man.
Yeah, so, they brought in Big Viscera and, King Mabel, Big Dad. And, we were in the locker room, and I said, hey, look, I'm going to come towards you, slam you on the floor. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, go for it. And me thinking, okay, I can take it. And literally, this guy is huge and tall as hell. And when he picked me up and when he slammed me, I thought it was taking forever for me to land on the ground. It seemed like hours on end, and it's like slow motion. And when I landed, all of my back and lower back hit the floor so hard, it shook most of the building.
I was there. I was there.
That-
I was there.
yeah.
It was a thud. It
So
was
Steve still owes money from the floor dancers. Well, hope they were insured.
Oh man.
All right, wait. So I'm going to jump in here, and I hate to interrupt the stories,
No problem,
but
brother.
I like to mix it up. So we do have a little bit of a word association game that it will kind of take us in all sorts of different directions, going back to RCW. So if I say a name, can you give us your thoughts? And if, of course, you, Road Dogg and Skywalker, if you guys have thoughts on these individuals, we'd love for you to speak up on it as well. Are you cool with that, Wildman?
I'm fine with it.
All right, let's start. Let's make it quick. Okay, so the first one, the Matt Maniac. He's like, they set me up. We set him up. These guys set me up.
Hey, Beast, you need a minute?
and we're only and Renee, we're only into the first one of these.
That's it. I got a few
Okay,
more.
I'm gonna put one and see how much longer I can keep Beast going. Macho mug, macho mug, macho mug, milk.
Well,
Oh,
Matt Maniac, great. He's a great guy, great friend of mine. You know, out of the wrestling business, he became like family to me. I was actually the best man and at his first wedding, and tell you a funny story. When he was getting married at the time, and you know, I was his best man, and the preacher was actually saying the vows and stuff, and it was a lit candle, and the candle fell from behind the preacher, and I stood there, brain is thinking, should you move or let the church burn down? So I
was there. I was there. I saw that. I'm like,
right. I'm thinking, should I let the church burn or is this preacher going to turn around? So I hurry up and step forward, lift the candle up, slap the little altar table thingy, and stood back and went, whew.
Like nothing ever happened.
Right.
The candle was a sign.
Yeah.
Ruby was there. He said the bride's evil powers moved, and he said he saw it too. Leave that lady alone. Come on, Ruby. Take it easy, my guy. Okay, the next one, the Punisher.
Tim Ferriss, God rest his soul. Great guy. I've worked him several times, and you know, once again, him and I became best of friends, family, and you know, I talk to him on a regular basis, and the last conversation I had with him was the day when he was called home. That hit me really hard because I had just talked to him the night before, and when I got the call and said that God called him home, that hit me really hard, and you know, still to this day, it still hits me hard.
And I'm gonna echo that,
With
Renee.
Frank, and by the way, with Frank Reed passing too, it's
Yeah.
tough. It's tough to lose the legends for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to give you an idea, I mean, Tim Ferriss was, I mean, literally, he went out there and he gave everything that you could possibly imagine. I remember the night at occasions where him and Billy Bob actually tore the urinal off the wall in a street fight matchup. Great guy, every sense of the word. Many CACs. I mean, he just loved the wrestling industry. I remember sitting at his house many years ago and watching old 8mm footage of wrestling at the Chase and wrestling here in the St. Louis area. Tim was a wealth of knowledge, a man gone far too soon. And again, like Beast, I got to tell you, when Rodell and I were in attendance for his funeral, and I mean, just seeing the pictures and going back, taking that trip down memory lane. Tim was one of the good ones, and I'll tell you right now, if anybody has a Hall of Fame here in the greater bi-state area, the Punisher is one of those where you definitely need to consider because he gave everything for the sport he
Yes, you
loved.
did.
And can we say? Can I say
Definitely.
something, Renee? You've heard two stories about stuff that's happened at occasions. Where MVWA ran, there was a lot more crazier stuff that happened. That building had some crazy things happen, and I'm gonna just Beast laughs because he knows it's true. They were fighting in the. I believe Billy Bob was that also the night that Billy Bob and Punisher wrestled to the back and they like were fighting over hot dogs or something.
Yeah.
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 and, and I'll say something about Punisher. There's two things that I remember about Punisher the most: the middle finger shirt
Mm-hmm.
and Crown Royal.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're going to go ahead and keep right on moving because there's way too many Punisher stories about that. Night Owl.
Okay, I got a couple more if you're ready. Okay, and I'll say this: this has been a real treat for me to hear these stories. This is what I was talking about when you first came on, Wildman. Like, you're retiring, we get it. I know you hinted to coming back as a manager, but guys like you, man, you have so much cool stuff that you have to offer, even if it's stories, even if it's experience. Like, we need you, bud. So even if you can't do it inside the ring, which is what I know that you wish you could do forever, like,
Yeah.
you got to promise us to keep sharing the knowledge, man. That's what it's all about for us, especially. I'm going to call myself younger fans. I'm in my 30s, but yeah, absolutely enjoy it. Love it. Okay, next one. Harsh.
Okay. Harsh is a great guy, great friend, great brother. I could tell you a funny story about basically him and Izzy. They've seen my work, but they never actually met me in person. And they met me on, how can I say it, an occasion where you would never want to meet someone. We were at a Carol Brown show, and I forget I forget Dr. Hoover Club or Martin Luther King Club or whatever. And I came in early. I'm always early for all my events, and I had to take a shower. And I'm sitting in the shower naked, sitting in Buddha position, going hum, and Izzy and Harsh, I guess they were calling me, and they seen me sitting in this Buddha position and with all four shower heads, beaming on me, and I'm sitting right in the middle. And after I got out of the shower, I go back in the locker room, and this is Harsh's and Izzy's exact thing. I said, "Hey guys, what's going on?" All they could do was go, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" They's
You
like,
spooked them.
"Yeah,
Yeah, like, this dude is wild.
yeah,
It's not just a gimmick, damn it.
right." And they was
I got
like,
one last one for you, Wild
Go
Man.
ahead, go ahead,
One
brother.
last one for you. The fans. The fans. What are your thoughts on the fans that have been with you throughout this incredible journey?
The fans for me have been phenomenal. Some fans hate me, some fans love me, but they know once they meet me on the outside of the ring, yes, I'm a big fearful guy, but those that know me personally and close to me know that I'm a big teddy bear, and I've become very close to some of my good fans, and then there's some that follow me from all over the world, coming all the way from London, England to Scotland, you know, a lot of places, and and I still chat with them, and they was like, I can't, they don't want me to retire, but I'm like, my time is due, and it's without my fans being there for me, there will be no Wild Man Beast. There will truly be no Wild Man Beast. And while I'm on here, I would like to say from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all my fans from around the world for your great support, for the follows, comments and everything. I take everything to heart, and I try to talk to most of my fans via my inbox on my fan page. They'll inbox me. I try to, stay in contact with them. Once they inbox me, yeah, it take me a few hours, but I still like to stay in contact with those fans just to show them, hey, look, if it wasn't for you, you would not have made the Wild Man Beast to what he is today. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Can we get a round of applause for that, guys? I mean, come on, man. Come on,
Thank
wow,
you.
man. Come on, wow. That's what it really comes down to. Like, as much as you've gotten from this business, I think you've given just as much back or more, wow, man. And that's why we love calling you a member of the Wrestle Talk podcast family. When Skywalker said, hey, I know the exact perfect person for episode 468, I said, hey, man, I trust you with my life, brother. He brought you up. I said, bro, it's time. It's time to bring the wild man back because it's about to go down. So I know we're getting near the end of our time. I'm going to give you single screen one more time, man. Can you tell us again the information pertaining to the upcoming show so that people can make it a point to come out and see you and give you the appropriate and respectful goodbye that you deserve?
Okay. This coming Saturday for CHWA in Edwardsville, Illinois. Get your tickets. You can look on my Facebook fan page underneath the Wildman Beast. And then next Friday in Beatrice, Nebraska, I'll be making my final appearance in Beatrice, Nebraska. And then Saturday, February 17th at the Berwyn's Eagles Club for Square Circle Megastars, my final journey, my final in-ring appearance against Windy City legend Mike Anthony. You can also still follow me on my YouTube channel at Beast369420. I'll be posting my final hoorah, the last couple of my matches up on my YouTube channel. And then February 17th will be my last match of my history. It will be on my YouTube channel if you can't make it out. But just try to come out and support me for the last hoorah. Come up and say hi, get your pictures. I'll be signing autographs, whatever. And once I get rid of all my shirts, that'll be it. But I want to thank all you fans for the love and support again. Thank you, and thank everybody for the memories.
Woo! Again, round of applause one more time, gentlemen. One more time. And guess what? Just because you're not wrestling anymore doesn't mean that we don't have business to handle, because I hear that there's a Jerry Springer story that we have not talked about. So we're actually going to save that one for the next visit, so that when you come back on with us next time, people are going to be like, oh shit, the Jerry Springer story. So hey, look at Robert's face. He's like, yo, I
feel he knows what this is going to be. And I feel like we broke the beast. And I'm going to tell you, I will be at CHWA this Saturday. I do some ring announcing for them. So I will be there, and I'll get to see what your final match here in the St. Louis area. And I encourage everyone, if you can't make it up to Berwyn and you're in the St. Louis vicinity, it's in Edwardsville. It's not that far of a drive from St. Louis. Come on out, celebrate the Beast with us. That's all you have to do. I mean, what more needs to be said? It's the
cheaper in the movies. Cheaper in the movies.
That is true. You know something, guys? First of all, I'm gonna say ditto from what Chris said, because I mean, again, this is the Wildman Beast final journey, and I mean, again, I look at it from the point of view, there's a lot of the wrestlers from the 80s and the early 90s and even the mid 90s that there's not many of us left. You got people like Beast. You've got people like Jeremy Lightfoot. You've got people like Ruthless Rich Davis. You've got people like the Wind of Destruction Mikaze, who still makes appearances here and there. You still got people like Derek Stone. There's not a lot of us left. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you've ever had the opportunity over the course of his career to see the Beast in the ring, you need to make it a point this Saturday, Edwardsville, Illinois. You need to show up, get your tickets for CHWA. It's going to be a great night. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's going to be taking on Iorio. Please tell me I said that correct.
That is correct. Iorio the Juggalo. It's Iorio and the Wild Man. It's going to be a good match, and we're all going to enjoy it. And I'm hoping that we don't ruin anything at the Edwardsville ring. I mean, because I know I've seen the Beast matches before, so anything can happen. So it's on a golf.
Even a moonsault. Remember, we heard about that earlier. It could be a moonsault.
Yeah. I mean,
that's true.
The VFW hall is on a golf course, so there are golf carts. So I'm not going to say it's going to happen. Let's hope it doesn't happen, but you never know.
You know something, Chris? I want to look at it this way. I know we got to take things because Beast has got to get ready for his travels in the next few days. But I got to tell you right now, if you got a golf course, and I must say this, imagine all the weapons that Beast could use.
Four.
Yep. A par 4 too.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, guess what? We didn't get to the trivia challenge. We didn't get to the Jerry Springer story. So for sure, let's if we can do this today, let's book the next experience, Wildman, if you're willing to join us down the road, because I feel like we left so much on the table, man, and we did almost an hour. Isn't that incredible?
And we know he's going to go into a Hall of Fame eventually, so he'll definitely be back.
We'll be there for that. We'll be there for that.
Awesome.
Beast is great to see you again, man. It's been a while. I get to see you Saturday. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to rock the house, and it's going to be fun. It'll be just like old times back when I actually had black hair, so black and brown hair. And I was refereeing his matches too at that point. So
yeah, when we used to move faster.
ain't that the truth?
All I gotta say, Chris, is this.
What are you doing? Oh, the spy, or I don't know what you're doing.
You don't know Orange Cassidy?
Oh, Orange Cassidy.
Oh, you got to do the finger like this, Robert.
It's got to be like
your thumb with it. Yeah, it's got to be lazier. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he is a Wildman Beast. He is a member of the Wrestle Talk family. He is a pro wrestling legend, and he just made episode 468 one of the best we've ever done here on the WTP. Wildman, one more round of applause for the legend. Congratulations on an outstanding career, brother. And thank you for always being a loyal member of the Wrestle Talk family, man. You have a great night.
Always. God bless, guys.
All right, Beast. It's good to see you. See you Saturday.
Okay. See you Saturday. Bye-bye.
That was fun.
Wow, man. Why do I feel like we could have talked to this man for another hour? We left the Jerry Springer story on the table. We left the trivia on the table. Skywalker, I'm going to ask you as a personal favor to rebook this interview for a little bit down the line, man, because I cannot wait to talk to him again, bro. That was incredible.
Remember, Night Owl, we're only 32 episodes from that magic 500. And I'm going to tell you right now, we need to get him on before 500. And I'm going to tell you, it's been a great show. I mean, again, we got Hardcore Hoss. We got everything going on here. You see Rick Ruby here talking about.
And Ruby doesn't like orange. He likes lime.
That is true. But guys, like I said, I mean, tonight was a great show, hands down. Wildman Beast, to get an opportunity this Saturday here in the St. Louis area, next Friday night in Nebraska, Saturday in Chicago. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys, I've got it on pretty good authority that we very well may get. I'm about 99% certain that we may have, if you follow Wrestle Talk Podcast on all forms of social media, we may have some special match footage. We may have an interview after the match this coming Saturday night with the Wildman Beast in Edwardsville, Illinois. Make it a point, Wrestle Talk Podcast on all your social media. Keep an eye out for it because, like I said, this Saturday night, CHWA, Edwardsville, Illinois, we're going to see what's going on.
Apparently, there's a DeMarco Farr and ESPN story as well that we need to bring up with the Beast. I mean, we need to like write this stuff down.
Oh my!
Yeah, well, here's one thing we can't forget that. Let's write that down. Here's the other thing that I want people to forget. I told you guys last week that right around the 9 o'clock hour Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, Little Big Brawlers on Discovery. So if you guys aren't checking them out, our guy Ivar, our girl Pinky, our guy Psycho that joined us just last week on Discovery, bro. What an amazing interview we did with them. The show is getting rave reviews, so make sure that if you haven't gone back already and watched, that you go back and watch Little Big Brawlers on Discovery. Why? Because the Wrestle Talk Podcast sent you. That's why. Go ahead, Skywalker.
And I know we got some technology issues, and I know we were trying to wrap things up, but Night Owl, I got to tell you this, and again, I'm going to get ready. I got something I got to share. You know what we need. I got to share it. Can you do me a favor? I know it's going to take a few seconds. I know that we're trying to get everything wrapped up here, but can you do me a favor? And I'll wait the few seconds because this is some pretty big news. Can you hit the breaking news sounder real quick?
Oh, man,
I know it's going to take some things. We got to make sure we press the right buttons. We got to put the right tapes in the machine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have a major announcement here. As if we haven't had enough tonight, I have it on good authority that sometime soon, hopefully in the next few weeks, that we had fresh off interviews with Ivar, Psycho, and of course, Pinky Shortcake. We are going to have more members of Big Little Brawlers in the Micro Wrestling Federation right here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. You want it, you asked for it, and we're going to be soon, very soon. I felt we needed to share that.
Skywalker. That's why you're on we talk about hitting home runs earlier and who's got the best shortstop in baseball. Or at least in Missouri. At least in Missouri. Bro, you keep throwing those fastballs down the middle. Myself, Road Dogg, Big John Haas, Sonny Money, of course, Gabe, and the rest of the crew. We're going to keep hitting them out of the park, bro. You keep bringing us these wonderful guests, man. I cannot wait to talk more of the Micro Brawlers. An absolutely incredible interview last week, and I think it's just going to get better and better as we go along, man. Awesome opportunity.
Most definitely. And you know something? We got one more little piece of business to take care of, and we're going to go ahead and get him out there. Chris, I know you mentioned it earlier, 8 o'clock. You did so well. You're going to do it again. Let's talk about all the great sponsors who help to bring the Wrestle Talk podcast to us each and every week.
Oh, we got Royal Mills Transportation, the CEO, Dewan Mills, Nobleman's Barber Lounge, KC, Missouri, Kincaid Arcade at the Oak Park Mall, Interstate 70 Sports Media, the one and only the Maestro Jeremy Carp, Little Popeye Designs. Hit us up for those Wrestle Talk podcast tumblers, and the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. This has been a great episode. I mean, this has been an absolutely great episode of Wrestle Talk. I know we went a little bit long, but you know what? It's worth it when we have a great guest like the Beast.
And you know something, guys? I'm going to throw it real simple. You want to enjoy the Wrestle Talk podcast? Make it a point, go on social media. You can catch all those great interviews. You can make it a point to find out all the great stuff. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, from top to bottom, the Wrestle Talk podcast still going strong. 468 episodes. Guys, I think we've covered everything for the night. Night Owl, I know you've got things taken care of here. You've been holding it down. So, ladies and gentlemen, for Luke Skywalker Roberts, Chris Rodell, Big Sexy, and the one and only the Night Owl, Renee Martinez, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Make it a point to follow us on all forms of social media. Tell your families, tell your friends. Next Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, right here for the Wrestle Talk podcast. Take care. We'll see you next Tuesday night.
Rest in peace, Toby Keith. Peace, y'all.